House.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 36 to 33rd along L Street. Then on Dodge, looks like things are starting to slow down just a little bit from 94th to 90th. And other than that, it looks like your commute this morning should be pretty smooth, even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Reason 1,206 to celebrate 30 years of Fernando's.
You finally figured out how to use your coffee grinder.
Winner of first place in 2023's Best of Omaha's Best Mexican Restaurant. Come in and get your Fernando's fix.
This is Brad Heller with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Tight end Mercedes Lewis is hoping to return for his 18th season in 2023. The 39-year-old says he's the best blocking tight end in the game, and there's been no decline in what he's able to do. A possible year 18 would be an NFL record for the most seasons by a tight end. Meanwhile, Vikings running back Alexander Mattison is looking to maximize his new role in Minnesota following the team's release of Dalvin Cook. The 25-year-old telling SiriusXM NFL Radio that he didn't think he'd be back in Minnesota, but he's excited for this new opportunity in front of him. And Cowboys offensive lineman Tyler Smith is excited to build on his second year. Smith telling the Fort Worth Star-Telegram that he feels more comfortable in the team's system following his 17 starts last season as a rookie, but he says the main goal for Dallas is a trip to the Super Bowl. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1, find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Hi, I'm a baseball umpire. My job can get pretty stressful. I have to keep my eyes open at all times, and if I don't make the right call, people boo me. So to relax, I visit a Nebraska lottery retailer like this one and buy some scratch tickets. It always calms me down. Hey, you cut in line.
I did not.
All right, you're out of here.
Hey, he didn't cut.
All right, you're out of here.
I feel better already. The Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Hello, Talking Deer here. I want to take this time to thank the Nebraska Lottery. Since 1993, Nebraska Lottery proceeds, over $900 million, have gone to its beneficiaries, including the environment. And since I'm out here in the field every day, I see it firsthand, or first hoof, I guess.
Who are you talking to, dear?
Oh, I was just thanking the Nebraska Lottery and all the people who play for supporting the Nebraska environment.
That's nice, dear.
The Nebraska Lottery. 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
It's all too obvious. We're being distracted by meaningless news headlines. When you dig to find the truth, you discover that the American way of life is being threatened by the institutions we used to trust. It's easy to see the future holds more food shortages, systematic controls, and government overreach. But instead of throwing up their hands, folks are preparing. They're taking steps to be self-reliant and investing in emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, makes it easy to get started and join the ranks with this limited-time offer. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and get their top-selling 4-week emergency food kit. Enjoy tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get new lower pricing this week on these 4-week emergency food kits. Secure at least one food kit for each member of your family. They ship free, too. Those who know what's coming are preparing. Smart folks. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. mypatriotsupply.com.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
1620 The Zone.
0-2 Fisher to White. That ball is drilled. Left field, back, and we are tied. Tommy Tanks does it again.
Here's the 0-1 to Beloso. Hit high and deep to right field. Giving it a look is Scheichhofer, and this baby's gone. Jay Beloso gives the Tigers a 4-3 lead.
Got 4 hits here in Omaha, and they are all extra base hits. That one foul.
No, they say that's fair. Evans didn't even leave home plate, and that ball is gone.
Breaking ball to start, and Evans skies this one down the line and left toward the corner.
Pearson back at the wall. That ball is gone. It's a grand slam for Evans. And he tags it. Left field and launched by Wyatt Langford.
Solid, stable, and simple. Caglione the opposite way, and that is back toward the wall and gone. Back to back for the Gators.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Good morning. The final day of the college baseball season. We get game 3 downtown because last night or yesterday afternoon, with the wind howling out. By the way, you can go and pick up your small animals or your garbage cans at somebody's property today. Rosenblatt, which hasn't been around for a while, they said, not so fast at the ballpark that has finally had an identity with the best College World Series that we can remember in a long time. Rosenblatt, Nick said, not so fast, my friend. And 24-4, Billy Napier, what they did offensively with Anthony Richardson and that defense holding LSU to 2 safeties, that was impressive. That's going to go a long way when the College Football Playoff Committee looks at breaking down the LSU Florida game, what they were able to do yesterday.
Yeah, defensively, some goal line stands. They decided to go a couple 2-point conversions. That one was just terrible, though. That I don't even know what they were thinking. But you know it's bad in the broadcast you heard there in the intro when you start getting uh-ohs before home runs. There was not 1 but 2 uh-ohs. That's when you know the game is getting out of reach. When it's like, uh-oh. And they're in the middle of a thought, uh-oh. Because that thing, man, the pre-BB Core era, I mean, the fact that we never even got that type of run differential in the non-modified bats era.
It's a throwback day.
It
brought
was,
back memories.
And unfortunately, it was extremely in the Florida dugout because if you think of the gorilla ball days and the ball flying out of Rosenblatt Stadium and hitting zoo animals and zoo parking lots and the days of Lyle Mouton, the fact that LSU was unable to really match that, but my goodness, that was something.
It got to a point where Jay Johnson probably told his director of ops,
Well,
here's a restaurant, call them, make a reservation. We're going out as a team.
Well, so true story. There were Florida fans that in the middle of the game were changing their flights When it got to a point that it was really comfortable, the Florida fans that have been here, a lot of people have been here for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, we're not going home tomorrow.
Going back to the zoo.
That 1 day difference, hey, especially when you've paid this much to this point, you're looking to skim it down as much as you can. I don't blame them. Like, I guess we're here for another day.
I don't know, man. I ran into a lot of people that were ready to go home. People that have been doing the College World Series for 2 weeks. They're like, yeah, I haven't seen my wife, haven't seen my kids.
My
it's
liver
time to go
hurts.
home. And Florida said, we're not ready to go home. See, I think because people will at least digest it until early this morning, figuring out what last night or yesterday's result means for tonight's game, which begins at 6 o'clock, and it is a winner take all. You don't know yet. So I think it's easier to overcome the 24-4. Now, nobody wants to get bludgeoned like that. Then 5-4 when you think you're going to win the national championship and Florida walks it off, or they score late, and then you have
Drop
to
a pop
you have
pile.
to think about that.
Yeah.
I think once you got to after the Evans Grand Slam and then one of the 5 errors by LSU in that LSU dugout, because you look at what they did with their pitching, they're already thinking, what we did on Saturday allowed us to have a clunker like this. Now, we'd love to win in 2 and be the champion, but it's not like that's the end of our season. So about the 4th or 5th inning, you start thinking, okay, what are we going to do on Monday? And I think if you're a player, you're already moved on. Lot easier to overcome 24-4. I know that sounds crazy to some, but in baseball, overcome 24-4 than 5-4. And most importantly, you guys have been around the game. The momentum in baseball is the next day's starting pitcher.
Yep.
And we don't know who's going to be starting for LSU, but if LSU comes out and if it's Skeens, if it's Hurd, whoever may start, and they deal right away, then yesterday kind of becomes forgotten a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you're right about the 5th inning. I think from the 5th inning on, you've already started to process this, and you're like, okay, you're playing to get this thing over with.
They're kind of loose in the LSU dugout.
Yeah,
a couple laughs, not in a bad way, just like, hey, we're going to play a baseball game tomorrow.
We're getting our asses kicked. This is a good old-fashioned butt whooping. We're going to get out of here, and we still have a chance to win a national championship tomorrow. All the post-game routine and everything was expedited because, and I understand what Jay Johnson's trying to do there. He's trying to get those guys home quick enough into the hotel room to where it even almost feels like you sort of have like an off day afternoon / evening. You get out of there early enough.
Oh, you almost joke. Man, they kicked our ass, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're able to get out of that. And so it almost feels like, between having a pretty early evening to, having a full day, there's kind of a day off there if you handle it right. So, yeah, I think if that game was, white knuckle and, LSU was up, say the exact same thing happened Saturday where they go up in extras, but then all of a sudden Florida gets a guy on and then they hit a 2-run tater to walk him off in the bottom of the 10th and the bottom of the 11th. Then all of a sudden you kind of have that shell shock feel. And that one's going to be tougher to kind of digest during the evening, even with an earlier game where you're going to feel like you're getting into the evening, you're having dinner and you're still just kind of stunned of what happened. This one, an hour and a half, 2 hours into the game, you're already processing the result itself. It doesn't feel good, but all right, we still have that opportunity on Monday.
Monday's going to be the last day of the season. We're going to play one last game.
There's some things about LSU that their offense has not been good in these 2 games against Florida when they need to. I mean, they'll have 30 on base. They'll have 17 on base in the extra inning game on Saturday night. You got Jordan Thompson, who's 1 for 30 in Omaha. So those are some concerns. But I think this means more to Florida because the middle of their order started to hit. Guys that are their moneymakers, Wyatt Langford and Jack Caglione, had monster days, and they barreled up some balls. Now, again, after a while, it's like it's batting practice. And so you're not chasing pitches, especially with the wind blowing out like it is. And, you got, hey, get it up in the air. I mean, the Ty Evans home run is ridiculous. I mean, the launch angle on
it's
that.
like 52 or something.
The reaction when it goes over the fence is like, oh, okay. And at that point, it made it 7-3, and then there was the air, and then quickly it was 8-3, and that ball game was over. I think it's more of a takeaway for Florida that offensively, the middle of their order, which has not been as advertised here, finally started to hit. But again, yesterday could be just a footnote in College World Series history, depending on what happens tonight. But I think you'll see a different LSU team, and I think you'll see a different Florida team that'll play for a 1-game national championship. But isn't it wild how we're on a stretch of the team that loses game 1 but wins game 2, goes on to win the series?
Yeah.
Now, last year we had 2-0. Ole Miss swept Oklahoma. But we're on a stretch of lose game 1, win game 2, you win the series 7 out of the last 10 times that's happened.
Which is, I mean, it just tells you about the momentum of it and how teams have to kind of battle the pitching matchup too. And when you've seen what LSU has done throughout this year, or well, I should say throughout the College World Series, but also throughout this year, where the bullpen was talked about as such an issue, and then you looked at what they've done in the College World Series, and it's been, for the most part, I mean, yesterday aside, but again, that thing, you're making decisions based on where that thing was going. It's been such a weapon that you do get to that moment of, all right, what are you actually going to do behind your guy? If Skeens does go today on 3 days rest,
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean if?
Well, he's pitching.
Yes,
that's the thing.
We will see him tonight.
I can't say he's 100% because I didn't get that confirmation. But yes, what do you have behind him? Because this is the 3 days rest where we do see pitch counts. We do see guys that sometimes feel a little bit more of that fatigue. He's gone from full weeks to 4 days. He was outstanding in 4 days. I don't expect him to all of a sudden, barely be reaching 90 today. But if they are able, they being Florida, are able to make him uncomfortable, what do you got behind him? What are you going to work behind him and how those roles are going to be established? Because these are all those things that you're kind of hashing out. For Florida, the offense was one thing too, but I mean, you've got a little bit more of a normal routine with what you have with Caglione in the starting spot tonight. So there's that to me is always kind of interesting when you are sort of disrupting the routine a little bit. There's a little bit of variable change there when it comes to rest and compared to what the other team is rolling out and what they feel good with having Caglione more on normal rest. So, I mean, there's a lot of that to it, but momentum is a real thing, especially in college sports. When you are able, regardless if they win that game 5-4 or they put up, 3 touchdowns, you're going to be able to ride that. The thing is that emotion and the difference between playing an afternoon game and then coming back the following night, as opposed to, kind of playing maybe back-to-back night games, not as much turnaround time. A lot of those little things can sort of factor into it as well.
See, I think LSU was smart yesterday. I mean, once that game got out of hand, you never saw a left-handed pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Once Ackenhausen was done, they didn't throw Cooper. They didn't throw Hurd. Florida got a 5-inning save.
Mm-hmm.
that kid saved Florida's bullpen, which sets up all kinds of intrigue tonight. But the biggest story will be, one, when you get to the ballpark and check the flags, it feels like it's a day where the wind's going to be blowing out.
It is.
But it's like Wrigley Field downtown. You have no idea if the wind's blowing out or
that's what I thought.
The wind is blowing in. So you're going to check the flags because that does have, yesterday was a gale, an absolute gale of, oh boy, we're going to be in trouble. If you were playing golf, you were hitting the ball 500 yards.
Yeah.
If you were playing baseball, you were hitting it what was Langford's home run? 449.
Mm-hmm.
So he has the 2 longest home runs in the history of the College World Series at the Chuck because he had the 456 earlier in the series. But I think LSU, and I'm no Jay Johnson, and his season is on the line, and you do have Paul Skeens, who would be on a bullpen type day, a long toss type day. He's going to pitch at some point. You cannot have your season on the line to win a national championship for the first time since 2009, and that guy just stalking up and down the dugout, going, when do I pitch? When do I pitch?
Right.
You give him the opportunity to pitch, but you're smart about it. And I truly believe that Jay Johnson will be smart about the usage of Skeens, but it's when, don't you think, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you start him because I think we're looking at a 45 to 50 to maybe a stretch of 60 pitches max.
Yep.
But he's not a guy that is used to coming out of the bullpen in either a dirty inning or beginning an inning out of the bullpen where the game is already underway. He's a guy that gets lathered up.
Mm-hmm.
He goes through his whole routine to be a starter, and then he comes in when the game is fresh. And I think that's the way to use him where he's more comfortable.
Yeah.
Let him be a starter. Let him throw 3-4 innings, whatever. Don't exceed that pitch limit because I don't think they won't jeopardize. And we also don't know how effective he would be. And then you've got Hurd, you've got Cooper, and then you start to piece it together. But I think you start him on the front end and go from there.
I totally agree. And the routine for people who don't understand how important that is for, especially a college pitcher, I think it's even more important in the pros as you kind of get into that long of a schedule. But for a college pitcher, it's very, very important. From anything of getting out an hour or so before the game, he's getting his pulls in, he's doing the long toss, he's getting his band work, all of those things that would have to be completely modified and expedited when you had that sense of urgency of going to the bullpen. When you're not used to that, again, we talk about creatures of habit all the time in sports, especially starting pitchers. If you have a guy that has been so effective, like Paul Skeens has been, I don't think you screw with that. And I don't think you roll the dice. Now, maybe Paul Skeens would be just fine hopping from the dugout into the bullpen. Maybe he's just staying in the bullpen and then he's going and he's getting hot, first sign of trouble. I'm with you. I've always felt, especially with dominant pitchers, there's a reason that these guys have been so good so long, especially big-bodied guys like that too. You want them to have that ample time to get their body right, to get their, physically and mentally right for that start, to stay into their routine as much as possible. As far as his stuff tonight, this is where I've talked about as he is kind of played on in the College World Series and he gets beyond the 6th and 7th, where normally you're going to get some type of physical arm fatigue. Now, don't twist that into, well, he's still popping 100 miles an hour, 101 miles an hour. Yeah. But as your arm is cooking and it starts to maybe have some signs of tire, he's a guy that with that slider, I've talked about this on several occasions, where the slider starts to drag a little bit more. And in some cases, it's even more effective because it's covering more area. It's moving a lot more. How is that slider early on? Because I have no concern whatsoever that Paul Skeens going to come and he's going to be popping the mid, in the upper 90s, might even touch triple digits a few times. But as far as how his slider is, because what we saw yesterday was you saw a lot of hanging breaking balls that were leaving the ballpark. If the wind is similar and the velocity that we see with Paul Skeens' slider, if there is any hanging element to it, that's where I get sometimes a little concerned. If you get beyond the 2nd and 3rd inning, he starts approach pitch 40 or 50, that thing maybe starts to stay up a little bit in the zone with that velocity. That thing has a chance to get some serious barrel on it, and it'll carry. So that's kind of what I would want to see out of that. But back to your original point, yeah, when you've got a couple of guys, a couple of starters that are going to factor into this one, Skeens would be number one without question, the guy that I would roll out there first, just based on his routine, his dominance, his size as well. All that to me matters.
Yeah, it's either him or Hurd that I think will start. Now, the thing also to keep in mind about Skeens and the routine as a starter. So the last 2 years, his last year at Air Force and this year at LSU, he has started every game. So 34 starts.
Mm-hmm.
He did come out of the bullpen exclusively when he was a freshman at Air Force, but that is 2 years
That's a
ago.
while ago.
So you're going to use Skeens. I think it's how and when you're going to use him tonight. There's also, you check the flags, you check to see that lineup of who's starting. And I'm sure there might be some gamemanship. That's the one thing I hate about college. Like in pro baseball, let's say the game is at 7 o'clock. By 11 a.m., a manager already has his lineup. In college baseball,
it's public.
College baseball, these guys, not everybody, but there are a lot of teams that will mess around and they won't even make their lineup public till like 90 minutes before the game. Texas used to do it like an hour before the game.
Yep.
So everybody will wait to see, all right, who's listed as a starting pitcher. And then also I would check to see who's umpiring behind home plate.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you disagreed with me, but I think you have to watch this, and it's been inconsistent behind home plate. It has just been a really, really inconsistent series outside of Billy Van Raphorst, who I think is a really, really good umpire, who appears to be like the crew chief of all of these guys. I think it's important to check to see who's umpiring behind the plate tonight, because if you get a strike zone that is bouncing all over the place again, then all bets are off.
I'd say if Campos is back there, yeah, I'd be interested.
It's like when you talk about basketball, and we've all been around it, where they put the little thing on the side of the scorer's table with the officials, and they do that so you know who you're yelling at, but also how you have an idea how the game's going to be officiated. Same thing here with baseball. It's like, well, what kind of plate do they call?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's true though. So many of these key details are going to be very important tonight, given the stakes, given the guys they're going to throw, especially on the LSU side. Look, Jack Caglione, he's going. You know what to expect out of him. With LSU, with how they might do this, and also let's not forget, Cooper is dealing with some type of stomach ailment. I'm assuming he will be fine for tonight, but not knowing the severity of that, I mean, is he going to be 100% too?
Ailment, that peak performance body that him and Beloso have?
Might have been a little grease with them wings. I don't know. That is
Maybe they had the Nick Handley wings.
They got the oh God help them if they did. You've got the ultimate like beer league softball bods right there. Love it.
It
Love
is
it.
fantastic.
And those guys are dudes too. Those guys are freaking dudes.
So Beloso, Ackenhausen, and Cooper all have peak performance bodies. I mean, we found so people want to get all like the Tommy Tanks and how cool of a nickname that is.
Yeah.
The Creole Bambino for Cade Beloso is awesome. His dad, by the way, I think has met everybody in Omaha and Lot D. So his dad yesterday, who
he had the gator on the grill, right?
He got a 25 pounds of Louisiana alligator meat.
Yeah.
And he put it on the smoker. You can't miss him. He's Rodney is. I met him the other day. He got a big personality. He's like his son.
Mm-hmm.
They got a big personality, and he's got this hot sauce that his son has made money off name, image, likeness. But yeah, yesterday he was out there cooking gator.
Did you have any gator?
No, I didn't see him yesterday. I was there a couple of days ago when he was doing some jambalaya.
No.
Oh man,
oh,
that's the place to be. I told you on Saturday, walking through that parking lot smelled like football season. So it's going to be like that again today. By the way, just because I had checked, wind this evening for the game north-northeast 10 to 15, but it will be decreasing as the evening goes on. So it'll be pretty still by later in the game.
If you don't know already, this is how
yesterday
it goes.
was northwest at 30 to 35. Very rare for the summer around these
ballparks in northwest or northerly wind means it's coming in. No, not here. We do things different around here. South wind means it's coming in. North wind means it's going out. So that thing could be blowing.
Thank you, Cantori.
Yep, you're welcome.
You bet. We'll be in the Dominator later.
Yes, we're gonna go chase some storms.
So wherever you see Paul Skeens today, I'm sure he'll be protected by the 2 Louisiana State University police officers, so that no one can get to him or ask him.
Like so,
Mr. Skeens taking a nap. Do you need anything?
First inning.
It's been kind of fun to get to know him. He's got a really cool personality, and he's a competitor. But they protect him at all costs. Like wherever he goes, sometimes he goes separate of the team. They have security, like campus police are around him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the lady that ran on the field the other day. She wanted to hug Paul Skeens. That's how popular he is. I think if you have reached a status like George Brett was popular when Morgana would run on the field. If someone is running on the field because they want to hug you, I think you have reached a level of popularity.
You have arrived.
And that's what happened with Skeens. Skeens does that to Louisiana women.
Did we find out the story on the lady who got escorted out when she tried to go after the LSU first base coach?
She might not be at the game tonight.
Okay.
Maybe in Omaha. But
she got a lifetime ban. I didn't know if we ever found out the identity and, what her affiliation was. Was it just strictly a fan?
Maybe she became part of Joe Burrow's entourage to kick Kendall off the elevator the other night.
Which, by the way, I know that part of what we do is we interview people that are at the game. Yeah, I think people that come here that are quote unquote celebrities, they come here to experience the event. And sometimes they either end up on the radio or end up on TV, and it's not good. Joe Burrow. Hello. Joe Burrow enjoyed his time at the College World Series.
Well, he should have.
See, he and Kelsey could actually find common ground there. They could have a good time.
I don't think anybody's ever thought of Joe Burrow does not have a good time. I know he seems like in the football season he's laser focused, but that guy doesn't mind having a couple of pops.
He would have fit in our show Saturday.
He would have, but just seeing him and seeing some pictures of him in his suite, he was here to have a good time, and they kept showing him on TV. I'm sure they tried to put in a request to interview him.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing that he didn't be interviewed. Like some of those guys are smart. Like we got turned down. I won't give his name, but there was another celebrity that was here that we got turned down to interview because they had a few too many hockey pops. And they were in the stands, but they were not in any position to be able to speak into a microphone.
Yeah.
So unless
it's fine.
Unless they're under 21 and you want to rizz them up, I mean, I don't think we should put the celebs on TV or interview. But they kept showing Joe Burrow, and you could tell, because we've all been there, that guy was enjoying his time at the College World Series, and he should be.
Absolutely, he should be.
At some point, he thought he was in Lincoln.
But did you know his entourage larger than Warren Buffett's? So they held an elevator the other day for a Buffett, and there were only like 6 guys with him. I guess Burrow had like 10 people that were around him. And I didn't know. I didn't see if Jamie, his brother who lives here in town, was with him or not. But Joe was having a good time. And he should. Like maybe Peyton Manning was having a good time
definitely
outside of the stadium.
A nice evening.
He was inside the stadium too.
His team won Saturday. It was a good time. Good fun was had by all.
And they should never have to apologize for that. Absolutely not. Even if that means we're not getting the
hell, we do the same thing.
Absolutely. Like I totally respect those guys just wanting to be there, wanting to do how they enjoy a game. And if that is, being social and, one goes down, two goes down before you know it, hey, you're feeling a little good about it. Don't apologize. We've all been there, right? Why do they need to hold themselves to a different standard?
In fact, I proposed at the shows at the Village today, just for the last game to commemorate it, just get a case between each host and just go to town. See what happens.
Do you think it'll be so? Connor's going to be down there at 10, and then Unsportsmanlike Conduct will be down there. Do you think it will be as raucous as it was on Saturday?
No.
I mean, we almost had a fight in front of us.
Yeah, you guys got
encouraging a fight.
We got the prime rib of those shows.
Like I'm very
I feel like you guys saw way more on Saturday than I did during a bachelor party weekend at your little get together on Saturday.
It was a gong show.
Yeah. Even the kids might have been a little under the influence. It was great. It was everything it was built up to be.
They're taking part in the Jello Shot Challenge.
Yeah.
I just hope that it has been such a great College World Series. The ballpark downtown finally has an identity. We've had 8 one-run games. We got our first clunker yesterday. We've really only had 2 clunkers in the entire series, and that was the TCU Virginia game.
Oral Roberts TCU.
TCU Oral Roberts was
awful.
Was a drag. And then yesterday being 24-4, which here's a little footnote. Do you know that 47 of the 66 times that Florida has played LSU in football, they have failed to score 24 points?
I saw that.
Ooh.
But their baseball team scored 24 runs yesterday.
Too bad we don't have Brian on today.
More offense than Iowa.
I just hope we have a good game today, because that would be kind of a little bit of a downer. We've had great weather. We've had great national anthems. We've had
great organists.
Great games. Great organists. We've had great crowds. Maybe not as raucous as I thought they would be. Record crowds, by the way. What else have we had? We had great pitching. We had mammoth home runs. We've got it back where one swing of the bat can change the ball game in that part. So we've had one of the best runs we've had in a long time for the College World Series. I just hope we get. It doesn't have to be classic. I just hope it's a competitive game tonight. We don't get an 8-1 game.
I think we get a 3-2, 4-3 type game.
And I hope, and I feel confident about this, given the teams, or in this case, the team involved. This is where you kind of look at external factors with the weather too. Going to be really, really nice, like very comfortable tonight. And there was, and you guys remember this, Gary, I know you definitely do. The Wednesday night when Mississippi State was going for the national championship when they took on Vanderbilt, there was, and much like LSU, they overwhelmed the home field advantage. They had the overwhelming majority of fans there, and even Omaha was rooting for them. There was just a sense of that buildup throughout the day. And as you were down there, you could tell this was just going to be a really fun night. And remember, that game was not very competitive at all, but the atmosphere, the energy, especially the historical nature of Mississippi State winning that, I hope we have that same type, because I know that was a Wednesday night. That was with the old format. I hope on a Monday night, you're the pre-4th of July week, so people probably are definitely having to get work done this week. I hope it has the same type of buzz, energy that Mississippi State night felt, because that was one of the coolest things where, you were kind of counting down the hours, and then once the game started, that first pitch was thrown. It was different than a lot of games. I hope tonight has it, and I feel confident that it will. I think there's a lot of things that are
like a Game 7 feel.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things in place, and also given the popularity of LSU, that'll have that type of feel when we get going tonight.
This is also the point that us as Omahans, we say thank you to Wake Forest
for giving us LSU,
for not winning.
Yeah,
because Wake Forest, Florida, even though it might have been really good baseball, would not have had the same effect. And we got America's team and Omaha's team playing against a really, really good baseball team. If we would have had Wake Forest, Florida, come on,
we'd have done.
There would have been a lot of tickets would have been available.
Agreed.
A lot of tickets would have been available.
Yep.
So thank you, Wake Forest, for allowing Tommy Tanks to hit a walk-off on Thursday night. So we did not have to have a Wake Forest, Florida matchup.
College World Series ends tonight.
No, you're right. For baseball fans, been following both those teams, you'd love it. But for event fans,
yeah, no. And this is where it shifts. Is we're all into the event. I mean, yeah, it would have been good baseball. 2 really good baseball teams, including the national #1 seed. But we're into the atmosphere. We're into the event.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how we root when we live in here. We want certain teams to be here. This is what it's going to be now that LSU has been back here. First of all, you might have to think about retiring the Jello shot challenge because no one's ever going to top what LSU did. Like, just take the shot board, put it in a case, put it up in Rocco's, and just remember the good times and think about what is the next thing to do. Because what LSU has done to this town has topped what Mississippi State and Ole Miss did.
Yeah.
Like, we're without LSU, think about the weekend.
Yeah.
We would not have had shows like we did.
No.
I mean, people would not have been like, this is great. They'd have been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
going to a baseball game.
We every year when we start thinking about the College World Series from the Omaha perspective, we want LSU.
Yep.
We want LSU. There's all these nice teams that come: Stony Brook, Oral Roberts, Kent State, Fresno State. Hey, you're all nice people, but
that's the one.
But get out the way, okay? We need LSU here to enhance the tournament. And just think about it. We would not be talking in the same vein about this tournament if it wasn't for LSU's place.
No doubt.
And this game, I'm pumped to watch a game that starts in 12 hours.
I mean, there could have been 8 one-run games in a College World Series if it didn't involve LSU.
Like, it was nice.
And
It's
it
good
would,
baseball.
And it would still be talked about, but it wouldn't have the same
They're
type
the
of appeal.
biggest draw to anybody that follows college baseball or is a college baseball fan.
Right.
That's the power of LSU baseball.
Yeah, because it's the same thing where you have these amazing, passionate fans that travel no matter where you go. There's always that part of you of like, oh, crap, we're playing LSU. They are going to gobble up a lot of tickets. But then once they get there, like, gosh dang, I love these guys.
Well,
I'm trying to beat their team. But gosh dang it, I love these guys.
You know why we like them here? I think nationally, and the TV ratings are really good when LSU is playing, is because people are very familiar with LSU baseball. I mean, look at the player after player, some of the great names.
I still think it's Skips.
And moments.
And also for a program that hasn't won a national title since 2009.
Right.
But you know why we like them even more around here? Yeah, they're great to us, and they come here every year, regardless if their team is playing here. And they're friendly, and they feed us, and they go to our businesses, even places that aren't going to get a bump with the College World Series downtown. They go down to Leavenworth to Barrett's. Why around here we are attracted to the LSU fans is because they treat baseball like football.
Yes, exactly.
They have the same passion for their baseball program that we have around here for football. So we can relate. And so we're drawn into the LSU factor.
Yep.
So thank God Wake Forest didn't win.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that's no disrespect to Wake Forest at all, but you're absolutely right. From the event's sake and from just the overall atmosphere standpoint, because how many times have you been in that championship series?
I've not personally ever played.
Well, not played, but been covering it. You're down there. You're trying to sort of gauge what the atmosphere is like. And it's usually been a very sleepy atmosphere until you actually get to the game. And even that is subdued a little bit. Now you fast forward into the new format where you've got a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if necessary. So you at least get that Saturday opportunity first and foremost, which by all indications sounds like you guys experienced that on Saturday.
It was fantastic.
You don't have that same type of buzz without LSU. You don't. You get people probably showing up an hour or two before the game, maybe walking around, checking out what's left of the baseball village and, some good deals.
Exactly that. It's sleepy.
And they're just excited to be going to a baseball game. What is always great about the College World Series, whether it's the old format or the new format, where you have that first Saturday, because I noticed that even with Friday being the first day, that first Saturday is still the day, the party. It goes on from morning to night. You are not going to be able to duplicate that first day on the game one of the championship series unless you have a special situation, and LSU brings you that special situation to where you've got essentially first weekend feels. And when you can do that in the championship series from the atmosphere, the lead up to the game, that takes a special type of fan base. That takes a special type of group that everyone embraces because of what they mean to the sport. But I think you're right, too, of how we can relate the way they travel, the amount that they put into the passion of this team.
What you said is exactly how I felt Saturday walking through Lot D. It smelled, it sounded, it looked like football season.
When I was telling you, don't pet strange animals or talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I told
Were
people
you petting strangers?
The best. Hey, you never know. That's how you make friends.
I think Jimmy wanted to get busy.
Huh?
I was giving out life advice, and it was a good day.
Said wanted to get busy and didn't know if you wanted to elaborate on that one.
We walk through the throng of people.
Yeah.
I almost felt like Jimmy was my little kid. I'm like, stay close to me. All right. Coming up on the show, the lineup brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Jacob Bigelow will stop by.
He was there.
He was there.
He wasn't starting fights or anything, but he was there to support.
No, he's got friends in high places.
Yes.
He ends up with good seats at the game or somehow. So Jacob will stop by at 9. Leah Van, who covers LSU athletics, LSU baseball in particular.
She pretty much has lived here.
Yeah, for the Advocate. She has. We've gone up and down with each other at the series.
Look on your face.
I know what you meant, but odd way of putting that.
So it's just she doesn't know me.
I hope she's going to the zoo.
Which adds another thing to this story that I'm about to reveal. But we've been in the elevator. That's what I meant. We've gone up to the 4th floor, down to the 2nd, down to the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like she is the beat writer, and she is very, very busy. She's very talented too. She's just churning out content. So she's kind enough. She's going to join us coming up at 9:30. That is the lineup brought to you by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We will discuss who we got. I don't know what to do. I tried to kill the Tigers. They won on Saturday night, and then yesterday, it was great to be a Florida Gator. They even up the series. I said on Saturday, Florida either wins in 2 or LSU in 3. So there's only one of those scenarios that is still alive. For all you kids out there that were trying to figure out my prediction. So we will give who we think will win tonight. The final day of the college baseball season is tonight downtown right here in good old Omaha, Nebraska. This crowd.
This town.
Was there any point where you're singing that as the series has been going on? The games have been great?
No.
Really?
I did like the beginning of that, though. Like
I almost tweeted out like the lyrics. I was having so much fun on Thursday.
You should have. No, yeah, the beginning of that song, yeah, it has that
What
feel
is
to it.
I have not.
What's OIR up to? I
have not seen any of the ESPN, like the beginning of games. What is their song?
Yeah, I haven't either.
No, I don't think I can recall anything that's been a theme. Like
I just assume it's the chain smokers or
something
post,
just like this. Imagine Dragons, maybe.
Who was the dude last year on Game Day who was terrible? Jack Harlow.
Oh,
does he sing?
I don't know if it's been like a featured song.
Fallout Boy.
Because when I haven't been there, when I've been watching the games on TV, yeah, I'm catching it like right in the open, like right in the live shot open. So I'm not. Yeah,
what they should do for the College World Series because they bumped him because he wasn't coming to their city. They should bring back Bubba Sparks. Why don't they let Bubba Sparks do the College World Series?
Come in.
Open it up with Ugly. Old time's sake.
You can join us. Your thoughts on the CWS as we reach, the final day on the Zone Hotline, which is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house, 951-1620. You can email us into the Equitable Bank inbox where they take banking personally. Hey, I see Doug and Equitable Bank are sponsoring a Legion team.
Oh, which one?
I'm not sure what school it's affiliated with.
Yeah.
It might be out west, as they say.
Okay.
But I noticed that I saw a score somewhere, and it was Equitable Bank won like 8-6. So
and just seeing you need like a Venn diagram of like, okay, Millard West is this, Omaha North is this, Bellevue West is this. Okay. Because when you just see those names, they just report them as the sponsor. You have no idea. Sometimes it'll say like the Equitable Bank inbox Dragons. You're like, oh, it's got to be Gretna then. But I don't even know if that's
with apologies to the Griffins. Are the Griffins have a Legion team, the new Gretna East High School?
I hope so.
Maybe sponsored by Hy-Vee.
Well, they should be. If Hy-Vee, if that bad boy is not the pre and post game headquarters of every Legion baseball game that the new Gretna High School has, then they're missing out on something.
They got 30 beers on tap in that Hy-Vee. Yep. You could do tailgating. I expect there to be tailgating on Friday nights before people go to the Gretna High or Gretna East game.
Oh, wait. Let's see. Doug just said Elkhorn North.
Okay.
All right. Elkhorn North. Thank you, Doug.
Hey, not a bad program.
Nope,
to
that's
be
good.
affiliated
That's
with.
good. I wonder when you do that too. You're like, well, you know what? We're interested in sponsoring your team. Can I see your roster?
You guys have had some good success there in the spring.
Can I see some D1?
Yeah.
Can I see your D1 prospect? Okay, you know what? Yeah, I think this is something we'd like to get on board with. Absolutely.
Gary or Nick at no. Which
one are we doing here?
I don't know.
We're doing an email.
We haven't been in studio that long.
He sent it to Nick, and he can forward it to you.
Email is Handley at 1620thezone.com, and then Twitter is at Nick Handley 1620.
Mine is pretty easy. It hasn't changed. Gary at 1620thezone.com.
Yep.
Or on the J Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. What Nick just said.
At Nick Handley.
And then at Gary Sharp 1620. Plus, Nebraska football had a good weekend. Just remember what's coming and the fireworks that are not in your neighborhood, but were shared aggressively across the Nebraska football program. Remember, it's their moment. So that's why you've not heard announcements of commits. They're coming. We coming. They coming. But it's their moment. So just relax, everybody. And it should be. That's a big moment for a young man to commit to a school to play Division I football. And so they will do it on their time. But Nebraska football had a really good weekend. We will discuss that and much more as we roll till 10 on the final day of the college baseball season, 6 o'clock tonight. Winner take all, LSU and Florida from the Chuck on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Their annual 4-person 4th of July scramble is coming up at 8:30 a.m. on Independence Day. How do you get signed up? Well, you go to their website, miraclehillgolf.com/store. You got to get signed up for this one fast because the spots will go by soon. And give them a call at 402-498-0220 to book your tee times today. They're located just north of Dodge on 120th Street, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
We've asked some water park experts at Funplex in Omaha what the best part of summer here is at the park. So, what do you guys think?
Motion Ocean, the slides, the lazy river, splash, double trouble.
Whoa, one at a time. Whoa!
We got this. Riding the waves of the Motion Ocean. Next, double trouble. A trapdoor drops, and suddenly you're rocketing down a slide feet first. Yeah, but what about music and lights inside Rockin' Rapids?
Okay. I guess the experts have spoken. This summer, let the fun drop at Funplex. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Baseball and ice cream go together like fireworks in the 4th of July. I mean, on any given night during the summer, you're bound to run into a team of little leaguers getting ice cream after their game, win or lose. So before you head home after the game, head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream and pick up your flavor. They serve more than 3,000 of them. Keep track of the daily specials on social media. Celebrating more than 35 years. Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Benson, Old Market, and at tedandwallys.com.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tired of having a website that doesn't reflect the quality of your brand? At JM Online, we specialize in custom websites for unique business needs. Your website should be more than just a digital billboard. It should be a powerful tool that grows your business. Awarded Omaha's best web developers in 2023, we're dedicated to local business success. So if you're ready to take your website to the next level, go to jmonline.com and request a call.
Howdy, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Hey, how about some interesting nature facts to get you outdoors? Did you know that Nebraska has more than 70 state parklands, more than 100 species of fish, more than 400 species of birds, and more than 1,500 species of native plants? We do. You need more numbers? Go online to the Game and Parks website, outdoornebraska.gov. Question for you. Planning to be on the water this season? Great. But remember, wear your life jacket. Keep in mind that most people who drown in boating accidents are not wearing theirs. It's like I tell folks all the time, life jackets, they float, you don't on the water. So why wouldn't you be wearing yours? Please think about that and be safe. I'm Greg Wagner with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Sportsmanlike conduct. It could be someone doing something great or doing something crazy, as long as they're doing it with spirit. Brought to you by Templeton Rye Whiskey. Whiskey for the strong spirited.
All right, so fireworks yesterday. A Chuck 24 runs scored by Florida. Caglione hit 2 home runs. But Caglione is the winning pitcher tonight. You see the MOP. He has 33 home runs. That's the most in the BB core era.
Yeah,
If he's the winning pitcher tonight, I think he's the MOP.
Because that's where I think you got a little bit of a backstop of what you've done all year on top of a 2-bomb showing yesterday. And then if you get the W in a winner-take-all national championship, I think that's worthy of an MOP type fitting.
I've noticed out and about over the weekend, the tents are popping up.
Oh, yeah. They were popping up a week ago, my man.
So fireworks will be readily available. So prepare your pets and your sleep schedule accordingly.
And have your phone ready to call a noise complaint when it goes past the time that you're supposed to.
There
The
was
ordinance, the city ordinance.
Is that what you guys do?
No.
There was some fireworks show by where I live Friday. It sounded like a damn war zone. So we just went out, sat out, and watched this. Like, this was easy.
We just loudly complain in our room. We don't call anybody. We just loudly complain. Like,
I
hate fireworks.
There are some
we enjoyed it.
Fireworks shows that are put on by individuals that sometimes are better than the paid fireworks shows.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, there's people who take it super serious. We have some of those in our neighborhood too, and so we just kind of sit back in the old driveway,
free entertainment.
And you sit back, you watch it. We've got some
You don't have
neighbors
to
that we
drive.
get along with very well. That we all kind of join forces, and
Except that one lady.
But yeah, although
she died.
Wow. Hey.
Oh, I thought that's where you were going with it.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just going to say too soon from my perspective. Thank you. Wow.
Jesus. As far as I know, good. But
Okay.
I've noticed the sprinkler has been on, but is coming nowhere near our fence. So,
well, there.
Even though I thought it was an unproductive conversation, apparently, at least in here in the short term, it's been productive.
It was a peaceful resolution.
But yes, we combine forces. We get together. A couple neighbors. It becomes a little block party, and it's free entertainment. That's amazing.
The only thing I want out of my neighborhood, because my neighborhood will become Baghdad for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Is my birds are back in my tree outside of my window, and they've only got another week to hang out and make noise at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
They don't get my sleep schedule like on the weekends where we're not getting up in the 4 o'clock hour. Okay. So birds, you can chirp all you want beginning at 6. I'm not there. I don't care. But you need to get with my schedule, and they haven't. So I look forward to, that's the only part of fireworks in my neighborhood, because it will scare them away and they will never come back. So
I didn't
I
even
had a
think of that.
major problem a few years ago that it was like me against the birds. And so I had all of these solutions to get rid of them, like putting an owl on my deck.
Yep.
Not shooting them, which I think is frowned upon.
Where
I was
how
going to get a BB gun.
are they? Is it like
I was
kind
going
of
to
near
cut
a
down. I was
tree?
going to cut down. No, they're in the tree.
Okay.
They're in the tree, and in the morning, beginning at about 3:30, they start singing. Now I don't know if they're horny or whatever the deal is.
Could be.
But all of a sudden, they get really excited at 3:30. I don't know if that's get busy time
That
if
might
you're
be.
a bird.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's a flock of them that just show up.
Well, last call's about 2.
But you know what? If that's what you want to do, good on you, because I think we all should be doing that. But here's my thing. July 4th is coming, birds, and there's going to be a lot of fireworks in my neighborhood, and you're going to be scared away. And so you're going to have to go somewhere else and find a new tree, just not my tree. So thank you.
Now, that's
the only benefit of this time of the year in my neighborhood.
That's okay. So see, I can get on board with the glass half full of the fireworks, and sometimes how it does get a little bit crazy and it goes on for a while because we as well get a little bit of the overdoing it with the bird noises. And yeah, I think it could be onto something. Do you, by the way, do you have access to that tree? Or can you, I mean, is it close enough where you can fling something? And I'm not saying like, harm you, rubber snakes.
I you know what? So I had an owl, I had rubber snakes,
Okay.
and it
So
didn't
you
do
tried
any
it all.
good.
Okay.
And so then I tried to get in touch with Harvey Updike, who poisoned the iconic tree in Toomer's Corner.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do we get rid of this tree? Because the birds are killing me. And it was awful. I could not sleep.
Yeah.
And they were just chirping all the time. But then the fire, and after all, like we had listeners calling in and emailing.
People telling you to get a BB gun.
Hey, this is what to do, and you'll take care of. A lot of people said the rubber snakes.
Yeah.
So here I am. I go to a store to buy, like, there is no specific rubber snake store in Omaha.
No.
Like, you can't Google it. You have to go like to a joke shop or a
Party City.
Or a
Maybe
Party
go-
City.
maybe
or,
go to Spencer's.
Or I'm going through it.
Yeah.
It's not in the back though.
That snake's not getting rid of birds. That snake's getting rid of some loneliness. But I had to go like to a toy store, and here I am walking around holding these rubber snakes, and I'm like, oh geez, they're gonna call the cops on me.
Someone's gonna recognize you.
Stranger danger, and they'll be like, hey, I've seen you in the post office. But then the fireworks came, and then the birds took off. So that's what I'm hoping. Speaking of fireworks, I don't know if you guys know this or not. We had some fireworks right here in our neighborhood this morning.
Oh?
So the Omaha police, which good guys and gals,
Many of them listen. Good morning, guys.
also, a lot of them are making some extra cash working the College World Series.
Yeah.
Some of them like what they're doing at the College World Series. Others are on traffic duty, and they're like, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Counting down.
Which I think if you were on traffic duty, that'd just be miserable. They handle it well, the people that are outside of the ballpark. But I'm like, you got to put up with people that don't know where they're going, and you're hollering at people, and you got people that are walking when they shouldn't be walking.
And then there are those years that the swim trials were right on top of the College World Series, and they had to extend that.
So there was a chase. We had a chase in the neighborhood this morning. Yeah, they clocked the car at 56th and Davenport going 100 miles an hour.
Damn.
I don't know if
That
it
is
was
not the
in
speed
our
limit.
parking lot, but reading Omaha Scanner, it sounds like it was this parking lot about 3 or 4 hours ago.
Do we have camera?
That the cops chased the car and they got out and ran. So there was like a foot chase in our neighborhood here this morning.
We need to see the footage. I wonder if we can get that re-racked.
Reminds me of the day we found the fireball bottles outside the door.
Well, it's on cue because you guys weren't here. We used to have a big, huge light that was in front of our message board at 50th and Capitol. Right as the first day of the College World Series last year. Remember, in this building, something always happens on the first day of the College World Series. Somebody either looks for a new job, someone announces they got a new job, someone quits, someone gets fired. Okay, it always happens on the first day of the College World Series. This year, woo!
All right.
We were able to make it through.
We still got one more day, though.
But last year, we had somebody who was enjoying the College World Series a little bit too much, drove off a Dodge and ran over our light and then took off again. like part of their car was left in our parking lot, but they drove off. So that's why we don't have that light anymore. So we had a little drama in our parking lot, apparently this morning. So good on the police for apprehending, but geez, 100 miles an hour
That's
at
crazy.
56th and Davenport.
Yeah, that's,
hello.
I don't even know how you are able to maneuver that street going at that rate of speed without hitting other like parked cars or hitting a house.
Yeah, there's a
That's
career for them besides the bad stuff if they have that kind of talent behind
They need to
the
go to
wheel.
Chicago. Chicago's going to have a NASCAR event, by the way.
Yeah, going to be a mess this weekend.
I saw the little bit outside of the track. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, if people thought that the Nashville track last night was rough, wait till driving on the streets of Chicago with the way they have it set up. Ooh,
yeah,
gonna be hanging and banging. Gonna be rubbing and racing.
Rubbing and racing, Harry.
All right, another hour to come. Again, LSU, Florida tonight. Paul Skeens, when, where, how much? Leah Van from Baton Rouge will join us a little bit later. Will they be playing Tom Petty or Garth Brooks in the stadium tonight?
Yeah. Would Garth show up?
No, he's in Vegas.
He can't come out for one day?
No, you have hope for maybe Mulkey.
Okay.
Brian Kelly supposedly was coming, but I don't know.
I have not seen Brian Kelly or Kim
That's what
Mulkey.
Rob said.
Nope. Oh, Brian's going to be here?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Cajun man himself.
Now he might be here. They've had like the last 2 weekends. They've had major recruiting weekends, and their Friday night lights down in Baton Rouge.
Was Paul
Maybe he'll
Maneri
be-
here all week? I know he was here for the weekend.
He was. I've seen him a couple of times. Well,
Okay.
he just withdrew from the Miami job,
Oh, okay.
so he is remaining retired. I think he has been here a few days.
Yeah, because I know they show him Saturday in the broadcast, but that night's because he's one of those guys who kind of blends in a a bit. But
Yeah, he does. Unless you're around, like the LSU, he's royalty
yeah,
with LSU fans.
Yeah, I was wondering if he had actually been here throughout the week, but it was good to see him.
All right, Jacob Bigelow will stop by as well. There is some Nebraska basketball news. Plus, we will. I have a question about a current Nebraska football player that I'm just curious. My curiosity has been piqued about an important player on Nebraska's roster that I will pose when we roll till 10. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley, 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backwin Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We're still getting reports of that accident on the left shoulder southbound along the North Freeway at Lake Street, so please be cautious if you're in that area. 1L, be prepared for a significant slowdown from 45th to 33rd. And other than that, it looks like your commute this morning should be pretty smooth, even if you're running a bit late. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahaw Nurseries.
No better time than now to focus on your garden or landscape. Come shop Lanahaw's Garden Center, filled with the area's best quality plants, flowers, and trees. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
For nearly 50 years, Woodhouse has been your trusted friend for new and used cars, trucks, and SUVs. In that same time, the corner of 112th and Dodge has been a familiar location where Omaha buys its Chevrolets. Today, both are together with Woodhouse Chevy Omaha. When I walk around the lot, I see a great selection of Chevy Blazers, Traverses, Equinoxes, and Malibus. And of course, at 112th and Dodge, you'll always find the dependable, tough Chevy Silverado. Visit Woodhouse Chevy today and save up to $6,000 off MSRP on the 2023 Silverado 1500. Along with Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley, we'll have the Silverados with the styles, features, and colors you're looking for. Hit up woodhouse.com and look over their huge selection online. While you're there, chat with their knowledgeable, friendly staff and schedule a test drive, all at your convenience. I've found new roads, and now you can find new roads to Woodhouse Chevy. Exit 75 off I-29, Missouri Valley, or 112th and Dodge in Omaha. Woodhouse.com. With approved credit, see dealer for details. Expires 6/30/23.
Does eating at home have you singing the blues? Stop by Cobb's at the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or 72nd and Jones to grab a delicious pizza, burgers, fresh salad, and some tasty charred wings. They even offer keto crusts and an extensive variety of shareable appetizers. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cobb's, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and 72nd and Jones. Click cobbspizza.com to see the menu, pizza, and so much more.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there.
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. STEM, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I should really give my dad a call.
Things you missed when you were tired suddenly come to light.
Wow, I'm a morning person.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. And at our 4th of July sale, you can get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $700 on select Sealy mattresses. Shop in-store or online at mattressfirm.com. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Sports Bar Experience, KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620, The Zone.
Oh, man. I know we're how many days, Jimmy, for football?
See, today's Monday. Friday was 69. Nice. 66.
Okay.
Good job. Yeah,
So
66.
the atmosphere between LSU and Florida in the stadium, hearing this song, hearing Calling Baton Rouge, I can't wait for college football.
That's how
I
it is.
know we're supposed to talk about college baseball, but this just immediately, I'm now in college football mode.
When we did that show Saturday, that's all I thought about. Can't wait. We had a Minnesota fan show up. He didn't seem all too confident.
Just random Minnesota fan. Was he decked out in Minnesota gear?
Yeah. He was reminded it was 68 days on Saturday. He was like, yeah, we'll see. All right. Fighting words.
And then it was weird though. Like I guess there's part of me that I can appreciate your fandom that even if your team is not involved in anything, you are decked out. Before Oral Roberts opened up the College World Series, Hank McMurray, the leadoff hitter, was sitting there in the on deck circle. Tyler and I were just sitting back there, and there's an Oregon fan just wearing nothing but Oregon stuff, had an Oregon football jersey, Oregon hat on, and Jake McMurray went over to Connor and I, just randomly said, hey, you guys think this guy realizes that we ended their season and they're not playing? And we just started laughing, and yeah, we were like, yeah.
No,
I mean, you're that dedicated to your team, whether you're football, baseball, and you're going to wear the colors at a college championship type event. Like, I don't know if that's like kind of, if I like respect that, like I appreciate your loyalty, or if I'm like, are you going a little too far with that? I don't know.
Well, this seems like an event. Now that you get a lot of Nebraska, Creighton, and Omaha gear, of course, this seems like an event that if you were just coming, you would wear the gear of your favorite team.
It's kind of like the draft.
Yeah.
Where you just, you're gonna wear your team colors, even if they're not directly involved in like the first round. They don't have a first round pick. You're there because it's
a party.
It's sports, and this is the sports team I root for. Okay.
We do have intel. Brian Kelly was in town yesterday.
Good morning, Brian.
I was not on lookout for Brian Kelly, but he was at a couple of LSU events.
Okay.
50th and Dodge. Stop by.
So Brian Kelly is in town.
Hey, Brian.
Sucks that his conference isn't getting Carter Nelson, but them the breaks. Zach says, remember, let kids have their moment. Let kids have their moment when they announce where they're going to go to school. Even when you have a football coach who sends out a tweet early on a Sunday morning that people are trying to decipher.
Mm-hmm.
Just let that running back have his moment. Just let him have his moment and let him tell another SEC school that he's flipping to Nebraska. All right. I'm being coy.
I understand. You're doing a damn good job of it.
Zach says, take what LSU is doing and dial it up to 11. If Nebraska ever makes the finals, that would be something.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Fair.
we discussed this with the Jello Shot Challenge when it came to.
Hey, if Nebraska baseball ever made it to the finals, and I don't know if any of us will be around to see that, it would be absolutely insane, and the rest of America would hate Nebraska. You already know that the 3 times that Nebraska has been here, that the other 7 teams were very put off by the amount of Nebraska fans, some of them being a little bit more obnoxious than others. Like 2001 was a College World Series that a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth. Now, I have a bad taste in my mouth because I wanted to be here all week, and we went 2 in the queue. But you remember how insane that was. The lead up to Nebraska playing in their first ever College World Series, and then they played the late game against Cal State Fullerton. Also, President Bush was here for the Stanford-Tulane game. So they shut down all the roads around Rosenblatt. You had lines stretching forever for people trying to get into the ballpark. And by the way, those lines also were running parallel to the people that started lining up like on a Wednesday for the general admission tickets that were camping out for a couple of days. So you had all of that going on. The Stanford-Tulane game runs late. The president is in the house. He takes off before the Nebraska game. So they have to shut down the gates so that the motorcade can get out of the Rosenblatt area. And then all I remember is the Nebraska baseball team getting ready to play a really good Cal State Fullerton team. They walk on the field, and it's Memorial Stadium. You had fans that were leaning over the outfield fence, just beating on the fence. Like one guy, and it might have been, Comene was pitching, so he wasn't the first guy to walk on the field. It might have like John Cole or somebody. And the place goes absolutely berserk. And I remember the fellow radio play-by-play guys were like turned off that it was all about Nebraska. And then that series, when Nebraska lost on that Sunday, like people just forgot about the series was going on. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Now in 05, it was a little bit different.
Yeah. And that's the one I remember because I was covering, or I was working with ESPN and stats and the information. I remember when we got upstairs and just looking behind me, if everybody remembers how Rosenblatt was set up, because you pointed out the lines of getting in, that was, I mean, it was unreal. Of this, just the amount sea of red making their way, funneling into Rosenblatt Stadium and seeing that. But it was a little bit more of, the whole act like you've been there before. The fact that Nebraska fans had now experienced this, this was the 3rd time in what would have been 5 years that they had been to the College World Series. So there was a little bit more of that decorum with the fans. You didn't see as many football jerseys in the stands. But
yeah, that was another thing that turned people off is, you thought Eric Crouch was playing
Right.
because
a lot
there
of
were
sevens.
so many 7 jerseys that were in the stands for the College World Series that year.
It's true.
Time and place, man.
But the 05, it was a little bit more of a, hey, this is we're a college baseball crowd all of a sudden. But seeing the takeover that took place when Nebraska made the College World Series, and it's hard not to think of some of these great fan bases that have been here recently. We were talking about Mississippi State just a little bit ago here on the show. LSU is always a must-see. Ole Miss did a nice job, too. Arkansas does a really good job when they're here, too. All these different things, these sort of new traditions, and we spent so much time talking about the Jello Shot Challenge. If you can just let yourself go to that place, if Nebraska were to get to the College World Series with the current setup and all of the accessible restaurants and bars, give North Downtown credit for that compared to Rosenblatt. Rosenblatt didn't really have that other than Starsky's. You've got all of those places around. It would be a blank show to the very definition of a blank show. And that Jello Shot Challenge, that could stand to be jeopardized there with that record. I think it'd be crushed.
How does Starsky's not exist?
No.
Oh.
Starsky's.
I was a 2-timer there. Hello.
Yeah. Starsky's had some charm. Would you say charm? Some charm.
It had some South Omaha charm.
It had South. Yes, there you go. It had South Omaha charm.
Jeremy says, I assume it must be different from an obnoxious fan standpoint for the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma makes it every year, so they're used to it. A little bit. This was the first year that I heard any question towards coaches of the other 7 teams in Oklahoma City about the home field advantage for Oklahoma. But Jeremy's point is correct. Oklahoma not only makes it every year, but also they are the best team.
Right. There's a difference there when it's like, you know what? Then you got problems with it, just beat us. You can't. So don't hate the player, hate the game.
Corey tweets in, told a girlfriend yesterday, if Nebraska made a run, LSU's new shot record would be done and no one would be able to catch it. And getting tickets to a game would be 3 times harder.
Yeah. I agree with all
of it. A lot of seats available for tonight's game because it's that weird, if necessary game. So Omaha, this is your night if you want to go to. And the prices, like I was looking on ticketsforless.com. The prices aren't bad for tonight's game, but there are a lot of seats available.
I would think tonight would be, like, from a walk-up crowd standpoint, I think you have a good chance of getting a lot of that, especially now knowing if people are listening right now or, throughout the day, they are kind of tracking this, knowing that there are tickets available because
you will see a champion crowned one way or the other.
And I maybe blowing this one out of proportion. Weather matters. It's going to be nice.
Lower humidity.
It's not humid.
Not hot.
You're going to have a bit of a breeze, but nothing that's going to, wreck your day. Like it
won't be swamp ass weather.
Yeah. Your deodorant should hold. That's always a good thing because that's not always the case.
I had to tell Ranby that's how we should include his summertime forecast.
Is the deodorant going to hold today, or are you going to have to reapply like sunscreen? That's when you know.
That would be a funny, like a meteorologist, because they all have their little thing. Like Ranby is rolling up the sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fear meteorologist at Channel 7
could get skin cancer.
Now, she didn't say that, but
yes,
it's Melanoma Monday.
Let's be fair. What has actually been said content-wise.
But she's like, this is going to be a beautiful day. It might be a top 10 day. It's going to be sunny and 75. But boy, if that ray hits you at the right point, you might have to put on some SPF 50.
That's sun glare. I hope you get the polarized. This is not a prism sunglass today. This is a polarized sunglass
But she does the when it's appropriate time to walk your dog, which I think is important. A lot of people walk their dog. I see, we come in before 6, and so there's a lot of people like around 52nd and Leavenworth, that really nice neighborhood through there.
Yeah, she said my dog's paws could burn off. One Saturday, I was like,
when did we
Christ, it's 76 degrees.
When did we get away from you can fry an egg out there? Now we got to say your dog's paws could burn off.
Now, I don't think Jimmy, you said 2 things I don't think she said.
She did. It was one weekend that, your
dog's paws could burn off.
Not literally that, but your dog's paws could burn in like something minutes, and then gave a graphic with temperature of the pavement. And I looked, I was like, well, how hot is it supposed to be today? About 80.
You should carry your dog.
So we had an illustrator with this too, like pointing to like, here's the data.
Yeah, it was a Saturday because I thought of you guys. I was like, man, if this had been a weekday, this would have been.
Hell? Okay.
This was like in May too.
I want to see that footage.
I would say she maybe just should have said this would be a day that maybe you just carry your dog, but you go outside.
Yeah. Be mindful of warm
But
pavements.
a meteorologist should do, this is how much deodorant you should wear today. Mm-hmm. This is like a double deodorant day.
Yeah.
Just go with the double swipe.
Yep, double swipe, reapply. Okay. Maybe bring it with you down to the ballpark, keep it in your back pocket.
Later this week. Could be more.
Be kind to your fellow fan.
You travel with deodorant?
I have before, yes, because I've known it would be that type of day. After suffering through, and this was at the Chuck. This was not too long ago. Sitting in the outfield bleachers with my wife and our in-laws, brothers-in-law, everybody was there. There was a stench. Somebody had just rampant BO. And, when you can't really pinpoint it, you're looking around seeing, all right, who might it be? And you're wondering. We all have theories. And then all of a sudden you think, okay, it's definitely this person. And that person gets up and then they go to the bathroom like, wait a minute. I didn't get a whiff over there. So maybe it's someone else. Anyway, I realize I don't ever want to be that guy.
You don't want to be Pigpen?
I do not. That is one of the most offensive odors.
You travel with deodorant. Where do you keep this deodorant?
No, I'll just usually keep it in my car.
In the front or back pocket?
I don't take it with me in like when I'm mobile.
Okay,
but,
so now
I'll keep it in the car.
Now you withheld that information because I think keeping it in your car is acceptable.
Yeah, I'll keep it in my car. Make sure.
But I
it
thought
doesn't
you
get...
were traveling.
No,
with
I
it.
don't like put it in a pocket. I'm saying you could do that if you wanted to.
Like if somebody said, "Hey, are you happy to see me?" Or is that a roll on? Is that a roll on or a stick? Huh?
Well, if you're gonna do that, Sharpie, you got to go travel size, so it's not that big. All right, just get a little travel size
That's
one.
what she said.
A little girthy.
Yeah, but I think it's a good
That's
strategy.
also what she said.
It's a good strategy, boys.
Okay.
Just don't be that guy. Nobody wants to be the stinky one. Don't be the stinky one. And I get it. Like if you only did the deodorant in the morning and it's sweltering out there,
then you didn't like hanging around TCU because part of the run is they were wearing the same batting practice jerseys.
Yep.
Yeah, and everybody got the sweat stains
and the stiffness of those things too.
Yeah.
They're like very crunchy.
They can walk on their own.
Yep.
That bus, they probably just had to set it on
pull
fire
them out
afterwards.
of they're hanging in the locker. You pull them out of the locker and you just set it and it's still upright. It doesn't like collapse down into like a pile. It's still upright there. Yeah, that's when you know you got kind of a funky thing there. But that's hey,
let's stick those jerseys in your trees outside your window. See those birds take off. There.
You've been around hockey too. There's nothing worse than if you get a catch of those gloves. Oh God, those are awful. And you're gonna smell those from
mascot
like several feet away.
That's why some of the best ventilation now is in a locker room. It's not just putting the fans out.
Yeah.
No, the ventilation in hockey locker rooms now is a lot better.
Good.
All right. LSU is minus 140 tonight. Florida is plus 110 if you are looking at the odds for tonight. So the boys in Vegas and the girls,
odds
and the girls in Vegas are pretty sure that Mr. Skeens is going to pitch when, where, how much. That to be discussed as we roll till 10, but time for an update with Jimmy.
They all know. They always know. Last college baseball game of the year tonight at the Chuck. The Tigers and the Gators for the national championship of intercollegiate baseball. Our coverage essentially begins with the Happer Show live from the Baseball Village. Game begins just after 6 o'clock, and you can hear the Westwood One broadcast right here on the Zone. North-northeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, decreasing to less than 5. Do with that what you will. Good story over the weekend. We talked about it and the fun we had on Saturday. Former Husker and Omaha native Matt Waldron became the 39th Nebraska baseball player to reach the major leagues after his contract was selected by the Padres on Friday. Former Westside product made a spot start in his major league debut Saturday night. It lasted 4 2/3 innings, giving up just 2 runs and 4 hits. Knuckleballer against the Washington Nationals. The Nats ended up winning the game 2-0, but he did a good job. And yeah, it was a good story. It was some good positive stuff to make you feel good over the weekend.
Don't let me forget to tell you Matt Waldron airport story when we get a moment.
Okay. Does it involve Sbarro Pizza?
No.
Okay. Last night in baseball, more good stories. Freddie Freeman joins Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto, Nelson Cruz, Elvis Andrus, and Andrew McCutcheon among active players who have accumulated at least 2,000 hits. He became the 8th player to reach that mark in a Dodgers uniform as he did that with 2 outs in the 8th inning against the Astros last night on a double into the gap in right center. However, Houston won in 11 innings, 6-5. Dodgers did take the series 2 games out of 3 thanks to some help from terrible umpiring on Saturday. But anyway, in the NBA, number 1 draft pick Victor Wembanyama has decided not to play for France in this summer's FIBA World Cup and instead will focus on preparing for his rookie season with the San Antonio Spurs in next year's Paris Olympics. I like that plan. This is a reversal from Wembanyama's previously stated plans for the summer and a blow to the French and current Olympic silver medalists who are planning to be a serious contender for the world title this August and September in the Philippines. He is still planning to play at least some of the Spurs Summer League games next month. He was formally introduced on Saturday morning at a rally, and he is very much acclimated, although they've had to teach him the Fahrenheit. When he arrived on Friday, it was 106 degrees, and it freaked him out. He did not know that.
Hey, seeing him, I know a lot of people reacted to his picture with the legends, Sean Elliott, David Robinson.
Yeah, I needed a cigarette
Manu
after that.
And Tim Duncan, who is running his own restaurant now with his new look. The picture of him in a uniform and just taking shots at the AT&T Center. Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 7'4". He looks like around the rim. He's a freak.
Future.
He is an absolute freak. Seeing him with the uniform on
Now, I've watched a lot more of him in the last year, but it's just something about seeing him in an NBA uniform.
Yeah.
He is. I can't wait for when him and Chet Holmgren.
Oh,
because San Antonio and
yeah.
Oklahoma City play quite a bit.
Yeah.
And, people forget about Chet Holmgren.
Yep.
Chet
That will be-
Holmgren and Victor.
Who
going
weighs
against each
more?
other.
Victor, just because he's taller.
I guess, yeah.
But you know what? Holmgren looks a little bit different.
He's
Like he's
Brahms.
Holmgren is never going to be like 320.
No, thankfully.
But Holmgren actually looks a little bit different from. I mean, he's not that old. I mean, right out of high school, 1 year at Gonzaga, and then to basically his redshirt year in the NBA. Holmgren looks a little bit different.
Getting some pro.
I'm excited.
JR's barbecue hits different.
Oklahoma City still is going to be one of my top teams on League Pass. They're going to be a fun team to watch. But when those two go against each other, hello. And then once one of them falls down, you're going to be like, oh, don't break, don't break.
Exactly.
That's my only. That's my only fear.
Something about that length
Just makes me nervous.
Yep.
But they can fatten them up in San Antonio. They are pros at doing that. Trust me.
Churros.
Yeah. Not even that. He said the thing he was looking forward to was that he started with a couple of Gateway. He had the potato and egg and the bean and cheese. He will begin to experiment from there. He'll put on 20 pounds in about a week.
Do they have Piggly Wigglies or is it HEB?
It's HEB. Dad said they used to have Piggly Wiggly in the 70s, but HEB ran everybody, including Kroger and Albertsons, out of town.
Never even heard of that.
What about the
HEB?
It's their Hy-Vee, like that big Hy-Vee. That's
south and into Texas.
Oh yeah.
Because
Heard of Piggly
the Lion Kings have all been. There's a couple of them in South Carolina I still see, but the Lion Kings kind of got. That used to be another grocery store.
Okay, I
but
never heard that
Piggly Wigglies are big in the South.
Did they have Hinky Dinkies?
I don't think he.
No, but we once had Handy Andy.
What about Albertsons? Did Albertsons was that national or is that just local?
Albertsons used to be.
We had Albertsons.
Okay.
They got ran out of town. That just HEB was a monster. They're also known for their clever commercials. Can't wait for Wemby's first commercial with them. You've made it when you've made one of the HEB commercials,
Okay.
which if you get their games on League Pass, you'll probably be able to see.
All right.
Oh man, I hate to do this and end this on a down note, but you can't be forgotten. And I know you talked a little bit about it. Finally, the Nebraska football family is mourning the loss of former I-back Darren Diedrich, who started at Nebraska and won 3 Grey Cup titles in a 10-year Canadian Football League career. He died Saturday after fighting cancer. Born in Jamaica and raised in Toronto, the 6', 225-pound Diedrich was the first Canadian scholarship recruit to play for the Huskers. In 2001, he started rushing for a Big 12 leading 1,299 yards and 15 touchdowns. He helped Nebraska reach the national championship game at the 2002 Rose Bowl, and he finished his college career with 2,745 yards rushing on 502 carries with 26 touchdowns. Frank Solich had a great quote, said, "It's really sad. Great kid, huge heart in everything he did. I enjoyed being around him. I enjoyed coaching him, and I think the players enjoyed being around him. He was a warrior, the perfect I-back to have a fullback in front of you. You could run I formation all day long with that combination. He was a true I formation tailback. He'd give you everything he had. Taken way, way too young, Darren Diedrich was only 44 years old."
Yeah, this was a form of cancer that, from talking to somebody that has spent a lot of time with Darren and his time in Canada, very, very aggressive, very, very painful, and fought it longer than they expected. So I got to know Darren really well because he was great with the media, but he was also one of those student athletes they did a lot of outreach. I always heard that when they would ask players to go hospital visits, school visits, do anything like that, Darren was one of the first guys. He kind of came along, if you talk to former running backs, just talking about Darren Diedrich, the running back, wearing number 30, guys weren't necessarily enamored with his style.
Yeah.
But he outrushed Eric Crouch on that 2001 team. Crouch was 1,115 yards, and Diedrich was, I think he was
like
a yard
14 or 15. I thought he was closer to there.
He was a yard or two shy of 1,300
Okay.
rushing that year. And he also came in a time where Nebraska, from the 90s, they had that great run of running back after running back after running back. And Diedrich was never an NFL guy. So he probably got looked at differently.
Yeah.
But man, he was a good dude. Him and Crouch, essentially carried that 2001 team, but he was always a really, really nice guy, always had a smile. And to hear this a couple of years ago when it came out that he was battling cancer, and then the news over the weekend, very, very sad. I mean, it's, cancer sucks to begin with. And somebody who is 44 years old.
Yeah.
Just, and they will honor him appropriately. But he kind of gets forgotten about because of the timing of when he showed up the run of NFL running backs Nebraska had, and he wasn't going to be one of those. But keep in mind, he outrushed Eric Crouch on the 0-1.
Yeah, and that's
I always thought he was darn good.
That's a great thing to bring up there because you're right. When you looked at the run of running backs that you saw, and you're just kind of looking at that team, I think now, if you would look at him on a lot of Big Ten teams, the style that he had, he'd stand out. I mean, he would be a guy that, a lot of teams would have as their starting tailback. But when you go from, Amon Green and you're going from those types of running backs that all of a sudden you've got a guy that didn't have that ability to just bowl over guys and just, NFL type talent. Bringing up the numbers, I think, was really important to put in context to, how good of a rusher Eric Crouch was, and especially in that offense, how many times he was toting the football too. Love the fact of what you brought up with the outreach too. And for a guy that I remember growing up when I was watching that team, getting into college, you just didn't hear a lot from him. He always just seemed like he was, just kind of, went out, did his job,
always steady,
played the game the right way, reliable guy. And I'm not shocked at all to know that he was probably very good with the media during that time. And I thought it was interesting too, once he got diagnosed with this form of cancer, he retired, but then he came back as a strength and conditioning coach in 2017. So he'd been dealing with this for quite a while and was able to actually still kind of have a role as a strength and conditioning coach too, while he's dealing with this. You talk about a guy that's just, trying to grind through something that's just absolutely awful. Just terrible to hear.
Thanks, Jimmy. All right. When we come back to the current Nebraska football team, I got a question about a guy that I haven't heard much about, that we're going to hear a lot about coming up in 66 days. We'll get into that a little bit later. Jacob Bigelow stops by. We will talk LSU, Florida. Leah Van, who covers the Tigers, ahead of Game 3 of the College Baseball Championship Series. The season is over tonight. We will have a champion in Omaha. There will be a dog pile in Omaha. Will it be with Tom Petty in the background or Garth Brooks in the background? Will there be a live alligator on the field, or will there be a live tiger on the field?
Either one would be amazing.
Why can't we have?
Let's do it.
So the
see a Bengal tiger.
Can the zoo loan one out?
Ooh, they have both.
This could be done.
Yep.
Sponsors, huh?
A big old gator, big old alligator.
Now my creative part is thinking here, because the mascots have been here.
Yep.
Which is still odd at a baseball game.
I thought that too.
Cheerleaders on the dugout is strange to me, but
I agree.
To each their own.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? We just can we get Mike on a trailer and get him up here? I mean, we met two ladies on Saturday at 11 a.m. on Friday.
Hardcore.
The one lady called her friend down in Baton Rouge, and they said, "We're going to Omaha. We don't have any tickets. We don't have any vacation.
That's awesome.
We're going to get in our car." And then they drove. Well, they went halfway.
Yeah.
And then they came in on Saturday.
What was
15-hour trip.
What was halfway? Did they say where they stopped?
I don't remember them where they said where they stopped.
I'd be curious where the halfway is. But anyway.
I would guess Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah, they came here and
that's awesome.
They got a hotel room and they
had tickets by the time we met them.
Standing room only tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. That's awesome.
They probably had a good time Saturday night. Took a long
So
nap.
why can't we ship Mike up here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why we
put
couldn't.
Put him like outside of gate 4.
I saw him one time. Said hello.
He's the official greeter.
Yeah.
Well, being how the purple people have taken over Rocco's across the street,
Have him outside there.
Just put him on the corner there.
Yep. Yeah. Oh man, that would be so cool.
Gosh. Imagine Kevin said, "Now we have a live tiger. This thing is taking on a life of its own."
That would be.
I mean, it's already the greatest college World
fantastic.
Series. Let's just get live animals.
Yes. The gator, maybe keeping a little bit more of an
Technically,
isolated area.
there was a gator yesterday, but he was on a smoker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still counts. Looked like a gator.
They need to don't do that today. Don't do that today, LSU. Because that didn't work yesterday.
It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, someone's going to be celebrating a championship tonight, and however you're celebrating, we encourage you to do it with Templeton Rye Whiskey, as they've brought some all-stars to the party in baseball this summer, and that is their all-star lineup of the 4-year, 6-year, and a new 10-year reserve. Templeton Rye is the perfect way to celebrate your home team. Templeton Rye Whiskey, it's for the strong-spirited. New, bold look, same great taste. And again, summer plans, whether we're talking about a little post-game celebration with Templeton Rye Whiskey, or if you're wanting to check out greatness, Templeton Distillery is just a short drive outside of Omaha. It's open most days of the week. You can visit the Templeton Distillery right there in Templeton, Iowa, and you can learn about a local legacy and what goes into the distillery exclusive releases. If you're getting ready for tonight's game, how about some cocktails? Templeton Rye Whiskey is available again with the 4, 6-year, and 10-year reserve, but it is best enjoyed on its own. But hey, you can enjoy maybe a Templeton Old Fashioned, a Manhattan, a Templeton Sour, maybe even the Iowa Mule. Go to TempletonDistillery.com to find more great recipes. Have some fun, celebrate responsibly with Templeton Rye Whiskey. Templeton Rye Whiskey, whiskey for the strong-spirited. And please, Templeton Rye Whiskey's Templeton, Iowa Rye Whiskey.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
And the size of that thing. Oh, massive. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's massive.
I thought I had a big mouth.
Yeah.
Apparently I don't. And they're taking it from all these different angles.
I know.
And
Can't
stuff.
you just do one X-ray and we move on with our day?
We landed a man on the moon using nothing more than a Commodore computer.
Yep.
And we haven't mastered the art of not having to stick that giant thing in your mouth to get an X-ray.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Your Monday morning forecast will include crystal blue skies along with comfortable conditions. Morning temperatures will start in the lower 60s before warming into the upper 70s around lunchtime today. Overall, we should hit a high temperature of 87 degrees. For tonight, remaining clear with morning lows dipping into the lower 60s. For tomorrow, much warmer with a high of 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KTV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 94th to 90th on Dodge. Then on Center, be prepared for a minor delay near Bob Boozer Drive. And along Highway 370, be prepared for some significant slowdowns from 150th to the I-80 East and West ramps. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Backlund Plumbing.
Backlund Plumbing is the most referred plumber in town, and that's because of our professional plumbers. If you'd like to join the Backlund Plumbing team, go to backlundplumbing.com.
Backlund Plumbing, the most referred plumber in town.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Attention homeowners. Are you ready to unleash the power of savings? J-Tech Construction and Solar, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, has an exclusive offer. Purchase any 2 trades from our winning lineup of services. Windows, doors, siding, roofs, gutters, and solar, and receive a 10% discount on your entire purchase. Click yourexteriorexperts.com to schedule your free consultation today. Double up on savings and save with J-Tech Construction and Solar, the official exterior experts of the Huskers. Click yourexteriorexperts.com.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah. It's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, 3/4-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
over there
are statistically
it's still alive.
Unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement Organization, is dedicated to preventing at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children from becoming involved in street gangs, crime, drug use, and victimization. Last year, PACE served over 5,000 area kids with wholesome competition and free participation in soccer, baseball, CrossFit, and flag football. To help PACE and local families make sure kids have access to safe and fun spring and summer activities, please go to paceomaha.org to support the PACE mission. Thank you.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, I want to say thank you, Iowa JD and Jim Booley, who are two great softball umpires in our community. Iowa JD, who we have a lot of fun with. His works in the Summit League, works in the Big East, the Missouri Valley. Seems like he works every Iowa high school girls softball game, but he's really, really good. And then Jim is one of the best umpires around.
Okay.
And so this started about a month and a half ago, way back in the day when I was in college. I would officiate basketball and I would officiate baseball and softball during the summer when I go back home to Des Moines to make a little extra money. And I really, really enjoyed it. But then life got in the way and I got busy. And so I couldn't do those anymore. And I was also calling the games and stuff like that. So Iowa JD approached me about a month ago and he said, hey, do you want to work a game with me? And so I said, yes. And it was this past Saturday at Papillion Landing, which I had never been to before. I'd been on the other side where they have the football field, but I'd never been where they have softball. And that is a great complex, kind of hidden. I can't believe that in Papillion, they have that much land available. So I thought we were working like a younger girls game, like U12.
Little babies.
Which may be a little nervous because, you know, the younger the participants, it seems like the worse the parents are. But we were working a U18 game. It was the Kansas City Originals, and I think they were the Millard Flurry or Fury.
Okay.
But
how'd it go?
You know what? It went really well.
Good.
I had a great time.
Just one game?
Yes.
Okay.
JD is fantastic. He for a young umpire, he's the guy you want to work with.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he knows all the rules and he's really great with the players and the coaches and the young umpires that are, you know, trying to get into the business and work games because they desperately need umpires, men and women. I had a great time. I had a couple of bang calls working the bases. You know, I didn't know if I should talk to the players. Like there was a shortstop for the team from Kansas City that had a pretty cool personality, and she was joking with her teammates. She was just crushing her teammates on stuff they did. And so I didn't know, like, should I engage in that conversation? Should I leave it alone?
No, I know. The socialite in you wants to.
But thank you to JD and Jim for giving me that opportunity. I had a great time, and time permitting, I hopefully I will do a couple of more games. No, I mean, the game was 8 a.m. Saturday, so no parents were, you know.
They weren't too fired up yet.
Plus
Still sleepy.
Did you have
safe there, out there?
Yeah. What was I was just going to ask you about your your overall technique? Did you have like kind of a subtle, or did
No,
you
no,
really
no.
give some force?
No, we had a couple of bang bang plays. I called a girl out. She got caught stealing. I was right there at second. Oh,
Did you give any? Did you have like a little leg kick with it too? Like
I might have. I might
Okay.
have.
So I want to know about this, and maybe Iowa JD could speak better on this too. We used to do this when I would coach, when you have the meeting with the umpires and you're exchanging lineups, that we would also use, well, the home team, and maybe in a tournament setting, it's different because you're probably paid through the tournament directors. But when we had a home game, we're the home team. Not only did we have to give the lineup, but you also had to give the check to the umpire. You had to get paid and then that check would go to both umpires, and you always had to write a check. And I feel like, checks are sort of outdated now, but I don't know if they still do like, and here's your check, guys. Thanks for coming. You didn't get a check in your hand? Okay.
No.
I'm just curious.
Did not do that. But
I don't know if
we
teams still have
exchanged lineups.
checkbooks.
The only thing I wish I wouldn't have said, and luckily we didn't have any controversy, the first base coach for the Kansas City team goes, how many games you got today? And I go, only one. I haven't done this in about 20 years.
Oh.
And she was like, oh.
So then she was immediately suspicious and thought you might be not on your game.
Yeah. And then she wanted to talk to me about, hey, we only have a couple games today because our girls are going to Colorado, and there's a huge, like over the 4th of July, big tournament in Colorado. So thank you to everybody out there. They and Greg and Hastings, who used to call your old show. He was working the plate.
Okay, yeah. Greg knows. Hashtag Greg knows. That's awesome. Okay.
So thank you to all those umpires out there, and they need a lot more of them. But I had a lot of fun, and I was working the bases. So JD, who is a great plate umpire, maybe the next time I will put on the gear, find my plate shoes, and get back after it.
And this also means you found the pants on Friday, because that's where we left this. When I got off
Found your gray pants?
Yeah, we need to
Heather Gray?
we need to have a officiating store here in Omaha. There's a couple of places on recommendations from listeners, but they're not like fully stocked.
Okay.
And I didn't have time to go, online.
Yeah, I would have thought maybe Nebraska Sporting Goods or Shields could have been your best bet. But as far as like the amount of what they'd have available, I would assume would still be pretty small.
So again, thank you to everybody out there that was part of that
That's
tournament.
awesome. I forgot all
the
about
talent. There's some really, really good talent.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought maybe, man, I might be working a game where Patty Gasso from Oklahoma
Yeah,
was sitting in the stands.
was Jordy Ball walking around, just checking it out?
No.
Okay.
Hey, but there's a girl from Gretna that's coming. That's the next big, Omaha
stud.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. All right. So thank you again to all those people. And, I maybe in the winter, I have some downtime. I mean, my schedule is crazy.
You have downtime in the
anyhow.
winter? Yeah.
I would like to do some basketball. I've always been asked to do like AAU.
Yeah.
But this time of the year, once we get the College World Series, I mean, Sharpie shutdown mode is about to begin. On that note, let me read you a tweet.
Yes.
So recruiting was the month of June has become the month for recruiting. Nebraska is ending up really well. I think Nebraska's recruiting class is always going to be around 20 or a little bit more. Now I can see it being at 25, and they'll just figure out the numbers as they go because they're on a roll. And Nebraska, I do not recall a run like Nebraska's had, whether it be, hey, well, that guy doesn't have many offers, or a 4-star, very raw in-state product. The flurry of commitments like Nebraska has had. So they've had a really, really good month of June, and they had another really, really good weekend that was kicked off by the T-Bird duo saying yes on Friday. Let me read a tweet. They always tell fans don't tweet at recruits.
Yeah.
What about coaches subtweeting other programs?
Mm-hmm.
This is an SEC coach that is subtweeting a Big Ten program. Is it Nebraska? Because Nebraska is going to convince an in-state player that Georgia is not the place for him, and they are going to flip a running back from an Ole Miss crystal ball to Nebraska. If you're wondering what Matt Rule's weird flex tweet was yesterday morning, trying to decipher it, I'm pretty sure it's Kawan Lacey, who is the running back from Lancaster, Texas, who the crystal balls have him going to Ole Miss, but Nebraska has made him a priority. And I think he's the player. I know he's the player that they are referring to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an SEC guy that's going to flip to Nebraska. I got the target I wanted. This is SEC ball, and we got an SEC grown, spelled Groan, man. Go Big Blue. None other than Vince Morrow this weekend tweeted that out. He was subtweeting Ohio State. Demarion Witten is a player that Kentucky thought they were getting that ended up at Ohio State. So Vince Morrow tweeted that out. I got the target I wanted. This is SEC ball, and we got and SEC Groan, man. Go Big Blue. Fair or foul that we have, and Vince's opinionated, aggressive, subtweeting another program. Because if you want to be entertained and see the trigger effect, just read the replies because it's a dumpster fire.
And I'm sure you have fan bases that are going head to head on this one. Okay. Let me put it this way. What's the one thing that I think Nebraska fans are, I won't even say overly excited about, but are at least appreciative of Matt Rule and this coaching staff on how they've kind of conducted themselves compared to moments in the past? The fact that there's adults present. This, to me, borders on the immature routes of the, well, we got our guy. So that to me, it's the sour grapes approach. If your personality is what it is, that's fine. And people know you to be a certain way. To me, that just kind of comes across as a little immature and kind of the crying over the spilled milk. I don't think it's a great look. So I'm going to say more on the foul part of it. That's how I see it.
Read the replies today and tell me, because it's an absolute mess. So he was not referring to Nebraska getting any SEC players. Remember, nobody steals the kids' moment. They have to make the decision on their own. And I'm sure the guy that does all the edits, Fawcett, is just like a flurry because there were all kinds of commitments this weekend. June has become the month for college football recruiting. But I have a couple other questions that I'm going to pose to both of you because I'm very curious. There is the legit Danny Kaelin effect when it comes to this class. Something about him, maybe he's a little bit goofy, doesn't take himself seriously, but he's very mature. And I think he's somebody that probably makes friends pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He got Carter Nelson, the baseball game, then this weekend, and you saw a lot of the photos that were put out had Kaelin in either his two wideouts that are coming to join him in Lincoln or Carter Nelson that was with him in some of the pictures in like in a formation or in a huddle.
Yeah.
This is just me being a little bit nerdy. And you see the recruits who get to choose the uniform that they want to be photographed in.
Yeah.
Is it more than just a recruiting thing that we might see? Because remember, you got Rule, he's brand new. That Nebraska goes red on red at some point during the 23 season. I hate the white on white. That's surrender whites. But a lot more recruits are choosing red on red. Are we going to see Nebraska wear red on red for a game in 23?
To answer your question, yes. There's going to be something.
Don't you guys
I think we're going to have white on white
guys?
and red on red.
No.
I know. I don't like it. I just have a feeling we will.
White on white, you got to get rid of Rule.
I like it. It's a bold take there.
But haven't you guys noticed that more recruits are choosing red on red?
Yeah, you've seen it a lot in a lot of the photos, and this kind of went back when
players can advocate for these things.
When they first got there, I didn't pay much attention to this could be something, but yeah, it is present a lot, especially with some of the big name recruits. But this is where I'll push back and say no, I don't think it happens, because I also do think
you still have 86 in your head when they were all red against Oklahoma.
Well, do we count some of those alternate uniforms that were technically all red too, like the masking tape ones that were just god awful and you couldn't even see the numbers?
Yeah, what did that do for Domino's Noid stock?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, those. Yeah, the Domino's ones with the Wisconsin and Nebraska one, which was the only game that Nebraska has beaten Wisconsin in the Big Ten, by the way. I still think Matt Rule is kind of the keep it close to tradition. And I'm not saying he needs to be. This is not like, well, my ball coach will know tradition. No, I feel like he is. Everything he said has been very respectful to like a lot of the things in the traditional look of Nebraska. And what he talked about in his press conference, growing up and watching the Nebraska football teams, and he's tapped into T.O. and Frank Solich. I still think when it comes to game days, I don't think he's going to go too far off the beaten path.
You don't think so? Because now
I think there could be maybe an alternate
maybe
look.
You noticed, I mean, the Machine and his crew were in Lincoln yesterday. The smock has arrived.
It has. Yes, it is back. Yep.
I've
noticed it the last couple of weeks now.
Last couple of recruiting weekends.
Yeah.
That should have been my lead story.
I mean, they might have Adidas had to do a special order.
Yep.
But now the smock has arrived.
I like the smock, by the way.
Well, I'm
not against it.
Hey, I like the all red. I know that I'm somebody whose my birth year begins with a 1, so I'm not supposed to know why I rizzed up Livy. I leave that to people whose birth year began with a 2, that thinks red on red is great, and that rizzing up Livy is great. I have a birth year that begins with a 1, so I don't know those things, but I'm all for red on red. My other question
I don't like it.
Watching recruiting, and again, Nebraska out of this weekend, there's 4 minimum that they're going to get that'll say yes to Nebraska. And whether you want to say, well, are they silent commitments or not, you got to remember that sometimes you want to let the other schools know, also let people that are close to you know. Maybe you want to get back home before you announce something. And also the mere fact that the guy who does all the editing and the graphics, he might have 100 recruits on the weekend that said yes, and he's doing them on the fly.
Yeah.
And then when he gets them done, then you can announce. But those are those kids' moments. That's why in the media, no one ever goes, breaking news, blank has committed to Nebraska on Saturday morning, and he's still on campus. We're smart. You don't steal that kid's moment, okay? For a guy or a gal, let them have in the recruiting world, announce it. We have crystal balls, all that stuff, but just the announcement, let the individual do it. If you are not a recruiting person and you are all out on recruiting, and maybe even looked at some of the commits this month and gone, oh, wait, great, Nebraska beat Charlotte out for a commit.
Right.
I mean, we gave Charlotte Bryce McGowan's and they gave us. So you might not say, I don't want to talk about recruiting. I don't follow recruiting until they get on the field. I've been burned way too much in the past.
Okay.
You can be that, and that's fine. Even if you are that, and also this is a question posed to everyone else, and then I'll let you chime in, Jimmy and Nick, and then we'll go to a break, and this will probably continue in the next hour. With that said, whether you follow recruiting or don't follow recruiting, what's your general vibe of Nebraska football as we reach the end of June? 66 days away from the start of the season. A month from today, Nebraska will be in Indianapolis at the Big Ten Media Days. What is your general vibe that Matt Rule has never coached a game at Nebraska? General vibe about where Nebraska football is on June 26th.
Optimism. No, I think and it's more the building to the future.
23, 24, 25 and beyond.
It's more of you're starting to see not only what they're trying to do, and this was a discussion last week about beating out Charlotte for a guy, of what Matt Rule has always shown to be a developer of. I hate calling them projects, but just for the argument's sake here,
getting dudes and developing
them. But
them.
Just finding guys that are a little bit more under the radar, or maybe haven't necessarily popped at the high school level yet, but you're seeing that there is something there and you're trying to get in on them early. Okay, so there's those guys. But now you're looking at some key members of this recruiting class in the state and in the area that you're able to convince that this program that is led by Matt Rule, that has a new coaching staff, that is laying out a plan, that you have facilities that you're also using, that they're basically kicking over every stone and making sure that they are covering all the bases. So now you are selling something to players that that you can see could truly impact the future of this program. Danny Kaelin is a perfect example of that, for a guy that is not going to arrive on campus and all of a sudden he's going to be competing with Sims, assuming Sims is here for another year in that first year. But you're seeing guys that you are now starting to forecast. These guys are going to have a great opportunity to develop and have a significant impact on this program and its future. And you start looking at, the schedules of 25, trying to get a lot of these guys in that mode of development to be some serious dudes, Big Ten dudes. I think that overall vibe right now is the future could be very bright here.
All right. 8 o'clock. Take a break. We'll come back. Coming up a little bit later, Jacob Bigelow will stop by. Thank God Nebraska basketball doesn't have to go in the merry-go-round of Kirk Kriisa because he's staying at West Virginia. Oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. Not that they would be interested, but I don't know if they would have a chance because it would come down to NIL and we'd have to have that discussion again. So thankfully they're not they don't have to go on that little merry-go-round.
Mm-hmm.
But are they going to get involved with an Alabama portal guy? Jacob will join us coming up at 9. Leah Vaughn, who covers LSU baseball, will join us with the championship game tonight. Winner take all, dogpile in Omaha that you're allowed to. I don't recommend that. Like you're in the Capital District, you go to let it fly. And you just dogpile in the middle. Yeah.
Especially in the concrete. That's going to.
You might get tossed.
Yeah.
In this case, you can dogpile in Omaha tonight. That's all coming up halfway through a Monday edition of Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you know what? What they will do for you at Woodhouse Buick GMC at 119th tonight, when you purchase a vehicle new or pre-owned and you celebrate, they might even dogpile with you. You could ask, if I purchase a vehicle from Woodhouse Buick GMC, will you dogpile in the middle of the showroom? They got a bunch of athletic men and women that are salespeople there. I bet they would. You know what? Because you can find the best vehicle now that meets your needs right now at 119th and I. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. Woodhouse Buick GMC. They've got simply something for everyone, whether it be stylish SUVs, capable trucks, new and pre-owned inventory. They also make it easy for you online, where they'll dogpile with you online as well when you purchase a vehicle, and they'll even set up driveway delivery if that's what you'd like. It's the whole experience. You can't beat it. Woodhouse Buick GMC, 119th and I, the climate-controlled indoor showroom, or online at woodhousebuickgmc.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
If baseball and ice cream go together like fireworks in the 4th of July, I mean, on any given night during the summer, you're bound to run into a team of little leaguers getting ice cream after their game, win or lose. So before you head home after the game, head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream and pick up your flavor. They serve more than 3,000 of them. Keep track of the daily specials on social media. Celebrating more than 35 years, Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Benson, Old Market, and at tedandwallys.com.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Nebraska or Iowa attorneys. 13340 California Street, Suite 200, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154.
Businesses of Omaha, settling for a website that looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s? Then it's time to level up with JM Online. Our local team builds custom websites that solve unique business needs. We're not your typical web design company. We're your partners in online success. Ready to take your website to the next level? Go to jmonline.com and request an initial call.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Some good emails and tweets coming in that we'll get to in the after the next break here on the general vibe check on June 26th. You know it's getting closer to the start of the season when the magazines are showing up. Phil Steele is showing up in your mail if you pre-ordered it. It should be in the Barnes & Noble, the lone Barnes & Noble here in Omaha.
Next week?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Showing Gators, by the way, on TV.
He should make his way here.
I don't know if that's foreshadowing or not.
See people that think that it's cool to like go by them, they're not interested in you. Like if they're crossing the golf course or they're crossing the street, you just leave them alone. And just remember, don't walk your dog by the edge of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, they think it's food. Okay.
Oh.
There's a couple of tips there from old
that's good.
The Florida man here on the show. So you know it's getting closer because you're jonesing for your Phil Steele, and again, media days are in less than a month. The SEC media days, I was talking to a couple of guys from the SEC network over the weekend. They have like a week off and then they go to Nashville.
Yep.
So that's where they're having the SEC media days. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, who do you think Nebraska is going to take? And it's got to be close to when they're going to announce that. Have we seen Jeff Sims? And this isn't, there's nothing wrong with Jeff Sims. It's just, he's the starting quarterback at Nebraska. I think he's talked to the media 2 or maybe 3 times since he got here. All you've heard is, man, he's a guy that has stepped up in the offseason conditioning. But other than that, have you heard anything about Jeff Sims? Seen Jeff Sims?
No.
None of that stuff.
Nope.
Like there's other programs, and this is where it dawned on me because Iowa had media availability and they had Cade McNamara talking the other day, and I'm like, wow, Nebraska's starting quarterback is such a great unknown from the standpoint of he really hasn't been out in the public, or he's not out in front of the media. They're not just releasing video after him. It's his coaches talking about him while they've been at camps when they're asked about the offense. It just, I don't know, just for a place like Nebraska where the quarterback is the position and there's a lot of fascination and intrigue about Jeff Sims, you don't see him, you don't hear about it.
No, and think about that with even when Adrian got here and when you first learned that he was going to be the starting quarterback, they had no problem trucking him out in front of the media, and he was a true freshman. And that's where we kind of sort of learned a little bit more about Adrian of like, hey, you know what? I'm excited to see this guy play because listen to the way that he carries himself, and he had a lot to say. So you felt like even going into that first start that you sort of knew him. You kind of you knew a little bit more about him. And this was a kid that was literally playing high school football in Fresno, had not played any collegiate games, where Jeff Sims, who's played at Georgia Tech, has got a little bit of that already on his resume. But you're right. It's been like, I want to think he's just in the lab. He's grinding. He's getting ready. That's just what he's doing.
That'd be the best description. It's like, you know what? The kid is, this is his second chance and he's quiet and he's just doing his work. But
He's going to let his play do the talking, baby. You're going to see him. You're going to see him soon enough. You're going to hear him soon enough.
But the starting quarterback at Nebraska has maybe been seen like 2, 3, 4 times, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a little odd.
It is odd,
and it's not a negative odd.
No, it's just
a place like Nebraska.
What
the
we're used
quarterback
to.
is more,
it's
out
different.
there.
It's different.
All right. We'll have an update with Jimmy and much more coming up next on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, made it back from Chicago in the old Bachelor Mobile from Woodhouse Mazda. That was the Mazda CX-5, and that thing, it handles perfectly no matter if it's summer conditions or you're thinking about making some of those plans for your winter conditions. One of the great SUVs in the SUV lineup with Woodhouse Mazda is the Mazda CX-5. The reason that I continue to re-up with the Mazda CX-5, well, it's easy. First of all, the overall comfort. They've got those Napa leather seats that you're going to notice very, very comfortable. Lots of space, no matter if you're bringing 4 or 5 people with you or you've got some luggage that you got to haul around. There's plenty of cargo space as well, and great gas mileage, which I learned over the week too, going back and forth from Chicago. And the great thing about it is it's also one of those very durable SUVs that comes with the infotainment system. So every trip is always enjoyable with that infotainment system. Right now, you can lease a 2023 Mazda CX-5 for $375 per month or 36 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit, tax, title, license, extra $2,500 down. First payment $299, doc fee due at signing. Stock number MM230287. Offer expires 6/30/2023. Check it out at Woodhouse Mazda, 2 locations, Woodhouse Mazda in Bellevue and Woodhouse Place Mazda on 144th and Giles in West Omaha. You can always chat a rep online, schedule test drive, check vehicle availability, get maintenance scheduled, and so much more. Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 94th to 90th on Dodge. Then on Center, be prepared for a minor delay near Bob Boozer Drive. And along Highway 370, be prepared for some significant slowdowns from 150th to the I-80 East and West ramps. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like jewelry, gold chains, bracelets, earrings, wedding rings, and high-end watches, guns, electronics, $10 to $50,000, super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Dust. It's in the living room, the bedroom, and the bathroom. It's also in your lungs. Let's fix that, shall we? Duck Defense Midwest offers a comprehensive system that cleans, disinfects, filters, and purifies the air. They'll make your home healthier and improve the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com right now for a special air duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. Cleanairradio.com.
Let It Fly Sports Bar is now open in the Capital District in downtown Omaha. Let It Fly Sports Bar is excited to introduce you to a unique twist on food, drinks, and sports, while raising the sports bar dining experience with a new high-end design and incredible food. Our 12,000 square foot sports bar includes 2 floors and a live glass enclosed studio featuring the Let It Fly show and 80 TVs. If you want high energy, entertaining environment while dining, Let It Fly Sports Bar is the spot for you. Now open.
We got some water park experts at Funplex in Omaha. What the best part of summer here is at the park. So, what do you guys think?
Motion, the slides, the lazy river, splash, double trouble.
Whoa, one at a time. Whoa!
We got this. Riding the waves of the motion ocean. Next, double trouble. Trapdoor drops, and suddenly you're rocketing down a slide feet first. Yeah, but what about music and lights inside Rockin' Rapids?
Okay. I guess the experts have spoken. This summer, let the fun drop at Funplex. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Bellino Fireworks, a Metro tradition for more than 35 years. Bellino Fireworks is the home of the original buy one, get 3 free sales special. Bellino Fireworks offers better quality products at a better price than anyone in the Midwest. More than 50 locations in the Omaha Council Bluffs area. There's no need to go anywhere else. Look for their signature inflatables or Bellino flags. Bellino Fireworks, the original buy one, get 3 free sales special. Visit BellinoFireworks.com for a full list of locations.
We're celebrating 4th of July early at 42 Degrees with deals so low you'll declare your independence from big box stores. Get our premium kratom starting at only $9.99, CBD from just $8.99, or candles from just $5.99. Light up with an awesome pipe at 42 Degrees. Choose from a great selection of glass, silicone, wood, or metal with a smoke-in price as low as $12.99, and with the most knowledgeable, friendly, and professional staff anywhere. 42 Degrees. By your mom's house.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620, The Zone.
Halftime brought to you by Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off 680 and 48th Street, next to Cubby's. It's Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
All right, so my list of must-attend sporting events upcoming in the fall around here into the winter. We got Volleyball Day in Nebraska. Nebraska and Omaha are the marquee down at Memorial Stadium. Nebraska Creighton volleyball is a must. Then you have Alabama Creighton men's basketball in the non-con. And then I periodically will be down by Bellevue West High School. Drive back through the neighborhood to get to the high school to see if anybody is camping out. Week 2, Omaha West Side at Bellevue West football.
Can I get credentialed for that one? That is one I'm definitely want to check out. I just need to reach out to our friends at the NSAA. Let's get a season pass because,
Safe to say that might be one of the more anticipated and highly talked about and attended regular season high school football games in the city of Omaha since maybe the 80s or the 90s.
Yep.
Now, it was talked about last year. And actually, there were, because you had Jalen Lloyd and Tristan Alvano playing last year, there were more Power 5 guys because of those two. But it was hyped up last year.
Yeah, Millard North Prep, Zach Potter years at Prep. Millard North had it going years. There were some good, those were some anticipated ones, whether it's in the playoffs or regular season. So that would have been like early 2000, but not to this level as far as the star power.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll sell a lot of tickets. Will be sold out, the pre-sale tickets.
Yeah.
A lot of people that want to go to that game. They should move it to a bigger venue.
Could you get
Just kidding.
Tickets for less? Got anything on that one?
Wow. Could we get to no, there'll be people. I bet people will
get some on the secondary market there.
Make a little money.
Do they sell season tickets at Bellevue West?
I think
I would.
I think high schools have some type of one. Yeah.
Hey, you don't think that both of those programs that have multiple Power 5 guys, and don't you think when they go on the road, like Bellevue West plays at Omaha South this year, Omaha South is going to make some money off of Bellevue West at the gate.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of general, just maybe not even Bellevue West fans, period, but there's going to be a lot of general fans wanting to see what is coming to Lincoln.
I mean, same thing with West Side.
Yes.
West Side goes out west. They go to Grand Island, North Platte. People want to see these guys they've been hearing about. Hey, make a little extra money.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's why we're glad Caitlin Clark is coming to PBA. Everybody in the Big Ten is hoping that Nebraska will play a round robin only on the road with Jordy Ball.
Yep. Give us softball, please.
All right. Let's take a quick call here, and then we'll get to Jimmy's update. We're a little past time here. It's my Lunchable guy. Hello, Gary.
You got it. How's the golf game?
Well, we had to take a little time off, but we're back at it. I'm playing at the Players Club today in a West Side event.
Nice.
Oh, you lucky duck. In answer to your question, where I think Nebraska is on June 5th, I drink a gallon of Kool-Aid every month with every Lunchable I eat. So there you go.
All right.
Good luck on your golf game, Gary.
Hey, thank you. The people that are playing with me probably don't feel the same way. They're like, God, thank God we're playing in a Texas Scramble.
Hey, be good. That's my course, man.
Hey,
Be good to
tell me that there was something wrong with the previous staff without telling me there was something wrong with the previous staff. Am I doing that right?
Wait, what?
What was that?
Tell me there was something wrong with the previous staff without telling me.
Oh.
Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
Because this is a popular theme in that question I asked last
Yes.
hour is there are adults in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is a huge when people that are talking about the current staff that has yet to coach a football game where they turn the scoreboard on, that's their general vibe. They feel better because of that. That is one of the biggest indictments of the previous staff that you can have when it's just simply there are adults in the room, so I feel better.
Yeah, and from the recruiting standpoint, and I know we sort of touched on this a little bit last week. There's a plan of purpose. There's a plan of purpose when it comes to recruiting. Like you can see what they're trying to do as opposed to, all right, let's just go to the transfer portal. We'll get a bunch of guys that previously played and let's just throw something at the wall and hopefully it sticks. Like at some point, that's kind of what it felt like. And I'm sure there was more to it than that. I'm not trying to completely dismiss any of those efforts, but it just felt that way. It feels like this one, there is more of a purpose when it comes to their recruiting methods.
It's the most consistent thing that we all talked about. What does Nebraska need in their next coach? And it's always been, of all the things that was said, just hire an adult. So yeah, that's where they are.
And grass.
Adults or not, one quick thing, then we'll get to Tim, then we'll get to the update, is you hear recruits will talk about the genuine relationship amongst the staff. They're not really talking about the 23 team. 23 is going to be a little rugged. Okay. I'm
Gotta start somewhere.
I'm just convinced. But you hear recruits talking about how the relationship amongst those adults is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we might poo-poo 16, 17, 18-year-old kids and go, they're smart. Just give them some time. They're smart people.
You can't BS kids. They see right through it.
And especially when they're trying to make it the commitment of their life.
Yeah.
And they're interacting with some of these guys they've never met before until recently, and all of a sudden their relationship ramps up, that they're saying you can tell that those guys get along with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's they're not talking about, man, I was around the team and I could tell, man, the team's got great chemistry. There are very few recruits that they're talking about that during this month of June. That rule is ruling June in recruiting of getting commitments. They're talking about the staff relationship.
Yeah.
And that's probably where you want to start if you're Matt Rule.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another part of the adults in the room is that they're selling the coach's relationship before they ever introduce you to the players.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever dated somebody that has kids.
Did, yeah.
Okay. So you know how you got to date. You date a little bit before, then you get to that point where they introduce you to the kids.
Yeah, right. To see if this is more than just like, having fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Here is Tim. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, glad to see Nick making it back from Chicago in one piece.
Yep, all good. Limbs intact. I think I got both kidneys. I'm good.
Attaboy. Hey, I got Bellevue West at 5.5 already on West Side.
Oh, early line there.
All right. Okay.
And I got some action on West Side, so I might be going down. So.
Tim, thanks for the call.
All right.
I like where we're at.
We're talking secondary ticket market now. We're getting the early, the futures odds for this one too.
Makes me even more ready for football season.
No. You are about to get the whole new world. My guys over on 30th and Ames do high school lines.
Love it. Does that sound like an accurate? Does it sound like an accurate line?
Tell you what, I think West Side defensively will have a plan.
Okay.
But it's going to be great. It'll be just like last year. It was a great game. 2 unfortunate injuries in the game. But West Side, I mean, there's a quarterback at West Side that people forget about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the guy that's chucking it for Bellevue West, yeah. Don't forget about the guy from West Side. And he turned out to have a monster game last year. 5.5 Bellevue West. That's our first line. It is June 26th.
Right now.
That game is September 9th, I believe.
Is that week 2?
No, September 8th. It's the Friday night before the Colorado game. See, there's a lot of people that have issues with the first 2 Nebraska games. One, I got Chattel telling me the other day, we don't know how we're going to cover volleyball day in Nebraska. I said, what do you mean?
Because football's the next night?
Yeah, because football is the next. And I'm like, you know what? Get an Uber.
Yeah.
All right. There's enough people that are going to go on that Wednesday, and then they're either going to leave right away or they're going to get up early. I mean, it's from my house to downtown Minneapolis with a little bit of traffic, about 5:15 to 5.5.
Yes.
Not bad.
Okay. It's not like we're driving to Duluth.
Or Piscataway.
Right. You can drive on Thursday to the game. And then
Yes.
there is kind of some people that are involved in that game would also like to be out in Boulder. And for God's sake, they're making it a 10 a.m. kickoff.
Yeah, that's going to be challenging.
But there's a lot of us that would like to be at the West Side Bellevue West game. So if
The Minnesota, I'm sorry, I
if,
don't feel bad for anybody who's trying to balance the volleyball day in Nebraska and the Minnesota-Nebraska season opener, because
blame it on rule.
Between a flight that would be a nothing flight, and as you pointed out, you could still go to bed, sleep in your own bed Wednesday night.
5 hours is nothing.
Wake up, you can get 6 hours of sleep.
Breakfast, cup of coffees, get in the car.
Wake up, you're in the car by 8 o'clock, you're good.
Okay,
go have a Juicy Lucy before you go to the stadium. You're set.
Tell me you're a tourist without telling me you're a tourist.
See, there, you did it right.
A Juicy Lucy.
Not that I'm against Juicy Lucy's, but that's not the first thing I would think of.
No.
Or maybe drop by Red Cow.
I would do
looking it up.
Well, I'm thinking of steakhouses though. JD Hoyt's is the best.
All right, hold on here. I'm gonna get you guys a flight. Minneapolis.
Oh, let's go.
I don't want 2 adults.
Not that, but
all right. Real quick here.
There's always
this website's too confusing.
There's some good, some very easy maneuverable morning flights.
Well, there's a
that you're going to get out.
Very familiar with a Delta flight that is a direct. I mean, any flight from here is going to be direct.
Yeah,
unless you're not doing it right. Okay, it's a little expensive.
What is it at?
Fly up on the day of the game. We're looking at about. I'm gonna get you out on the 31st, and I'm gonna bring you back. I'll bring you back the next morning because your son wants to see you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, no. If you leave, well, no. They're actually not bad. They're not bad. There's a 273 round trip.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No. Yeah,
that's great.
World Herald can afford that.
Yeah, you're good.
We can ask Sam tomorrow just to verify.
Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah,
what time does the flight leave? Could you tell me?
It's early.
Okay, like
there's
we're talking
one
like 6 a.m. or 5:30.
There's one at 10:59. This is what you do. Okay, for anybody that's going up there, so you want to fly up and you're flying into MSP. You know, Delta is the hub.
Yep.
You don't even have to rent a car. You get in the train. You take the train all the way from the airport, all the way to campus, and it will deposit you right outside of the one end zone. Not the end zone that has the scoreboard, but the opposite end zone. The train, one of the train stops is right there. So there you go.
And they have more than enough hotels to accommodate you.
Steve Glenn should hire me. I think I'm a good travel expert.
This segment will be on the radio replay if anyone needs to go back and take notes.
Just trying to help the people.
Jimmy, just for a friend, I would hope that the whole damn show would be on the radio replay.
It is.
Why just this segment?
It is. But I just want to remind that this segment, in case there will be on the radio replay, it will.
Okay. I'm just checking. I got a little nervous there.
Just letting you know that there are flights available. You can still do that. So you can do both, folks. You can have it all. You can have volleyball on Wednesday at
This
Memorial
is
Stadium.
segment 6, if you'd like to.
Hey, do you know that they put now on? So I'm on Google Flights. They put what the emissions are from the plane.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Oh, that 6:19 to 11:23 flight with one stop in O'Hare.
Bad fuel emission.
Ooh, 149 kgs of CO2.
Oh, that's a big one. That's your big boy right there.
Is it cheap?
I don't know if that's good or not.
I don't know either. As long as it's cheap.
Actually, that flight is a little bit cheaper.
All right, then.
But you got to go. You got to stop in Orlando, O'Hare.
Yeah. See, there are just a few places like Minnesota. I'm going direct flight. I'm not.
It's a great airport.
I'm not ping ponging.
The MSP is really, really nice.
I've had some bad luck with flights being canceled out of.
And
MSP.
I'm not opposed to driving 5.5 hours.
It is. It's a nothing drive, and it actually might be the better way to go.
Ooh, once you get north of like Ames.
Well, I'm not saying it's a
snowing.
Not saying it's a pleasant drive. I'm just saying it's an easy drive.
Ames to Albert Lee. I think I once, when I was going to school up there that one year, I think I slept the whole way while I was driving. Because I don't remember. I don't remember driving.
Well, up and at 'em. We're here.
I am glad you made it. Oh, these sunglasses are really dark. Wow.
All right. Time for an update with Jimmy.
Oh, man, the Storm Chasers. I don't think they're driving home. If they are, I don't know. Anyways, they scored 7 runs across the first 3 innings. They held on to win again, 7-3 over Rochester. It secures their 3rd straight series win, and that ends the first half of the season. Blink and you'll miss it. After off days today and tomorrow, they return to action Wednesday at Werner Park. 12:05 first pitch against the iCubs to open the second half. They are now 38-34. By the way, Jordy Ball night is Friday. LSU center fielder Dylan Cruz, projected to be the number 1 pick in the amateur draft next month, was honored yesterday as the winner of the Golden Spikes Award as the top amateur baseball player in the country.
Do you know that 40 of the 44 winners have made the majors?
I believe it.
If you win the Golden Spikes Award, you're the best of the best in college baseball, but you're going to play in the majors. Now the question will be Skeens or Cruz that Pittsburgh chooses one?
I still
and you laid out a good case for.
I still think Skeens has got to be on the minds right now.
Yeah, ask that question again tomorrow.
That's tough to turn down.
He was a Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. Just means more for the 2nd straight season. Led the Tigers to the College World Series Finals, which you can hear tonight on the Zone at 6. And he is among the national leaders in most offensive categories. He's 1st in runs scored, 2nd in on-base percentage, 5th in hits, 6th in batting average. He's the 10th Golden Spikes Award winner from the SEC and the 2nd from LSU since the Tigers' Ben McDonald won the award back in 1989. In professional baseball, Cubs right-hander Marcus Stroman left the Cubs' 7-5 loss to the Cardinals in London yesterday in the 4th inning with a blister in his right index finger. He had entered the game with an NL Best 2.28 ERA and was 7-0 in his past 7 starts going into the series finale in London. He was pulled with 1 out in the 4th after Paul Goldschmidt put the Cardinals ahead 5-4 in a sharp single that scored Tommy Edman. He hopes it's precautionary and hopes it'll heal quickly. In football, never a dull moment. Travis Kelce says he understands Jamar Chase wanting to stick up for his quarterback, but by dissing Patrick Mahomes, he better be ready to back up his bold talk. Yeah, the Chiefs star tie-in weighed in on the Bengals star wide receiver Pat Who comment this week on his New Heights podcast with his co-host, his brother, Jason. He says, I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't want to get in trouble. It is what it is, dog. Who doesn't love some good locker room banter, man? Shout out to Jamar Chase for holding it down for his QB, but don't you ever disrespect Pat Mahomes now. If you want to talk your feces, pimp. Just better back it up. He did not say the word feces, but if we say the other word, I get in trouble and somebody else is here tomorrow.
I'm sorry. It would have been so much better if he said feces. Way better. I'm actually disappointed that that's not verbatim what he said. So you just disappointed me on a Monday.
Oh man. I'm sorry. Travis Kelce just always that can get you perk up your mood on a Monday. Anyway, elsewhere in the AFC West, an assault charge against Devontae Adams for shoving a credentialed media worker in Kansas City after an October game has been dropped. A spokesperson for the Kansas City Municipal Court told the Kansas City Star on Friday that a prosecutor had dismissed the misdemeanor charge June 5th and that the case was closed. Adams shoved the man identified by police as Ryan Zebley. His name, so that's what they identified him as. He was working for Monday Night Football as a freelance photographer, and the incident occurred after the Raiders' 30-29 loss to the Chiefs at Arrowhead back on October 10th. Records say that Zebley suffered whiplash, a headache, and a possible minor concussion from the incident. He was put in the protocol. He is suing Adams, the Raiders, the Chiefs, everybody, among others, over the incident, and that civil case remains pending. Hell, I'm sure he sued the Royals because they've had such a bad year. That would be just about right. Anyway, Adams had apologized after the game, saying the shove was just frustration mixed with Zebley literally just running in front of me.
Was he really in the protocol? Do we know what the photographer concussion protocol entails?
I would hope so. That's CTE. You can tell you that's not a joke.
You got to do like the baseline test and everything too.
Yeah. Trainer's holding up some fingers. True or false?
Mm-hmm.
True.
True. The man's holding some fingers. True. He's all right, Coach.
Thanks, Jimmy. Coming up in about 30 minutes, Jacob Bigelow stops by. In an hour, we'll talk LSU in Florida. Games 3, championship series tonight, 6 o'clock. The winner is the national champion. Will it be another one for Kevin O'Sullivan? Will it be a first for Jay Johnson, the head coach at LSU? We'll get into that coming up in about an hour from the LSU perspective. And maybe we'll know by then if Paul Skeens is going to pitch. When will we know if he's going to pitch? Will it be 5 o'clock, 5:30, 5:42 when he goes to the bullpen to start his warm-up? Will they just say at noon, or will they play Cloak and Dagger?
I think it's a late afternoon announcement. Yeah.
Jay Johnson can call into the Happer Show and break it live.
Yeah, okay, if we're going off of show schedules, I feel like it might be a part of the crossover between Hap and Unsportsmanlike.
Or Shafe can break it today. Okay.
I think we're looking at a 2 or 3 o'clock announcement.
He's going to pitch. We just don't know when.
Yep.
More of Mornings with Sharp and Handley coming up after this. All right, Templeton Rye, as you get ready to celebrate the final game of the college baseball championship, you better have some Templeton Rye with you. Whether you're cooking up gator, where they got a little jambalaya, where you got a little, what else we got out there? A little crawfish I've seen. You should have Templeton Rye close by. It is whiskey for the strong-spirited. It has been all over the tailgating for the college baseball championship with all the fans that are either from Omaha or from around the country. They're celebrating. Every time there was a home run yesterday, people were raising their glass of Templeton Rye, and they were saying, you know what? I like it because I'm strong-spirited, and it is whiskey that is in my wheelhouse. Located not very far from Omaha, Templeton, Iowa, Rye Whiskey. Check out the distillery online. Templeton Distillery, Instagram was where you can find it, or that short drive just outside of Omaha. They have the 4-year, 6-year, 10-year reserve. It is a home run all the way around, whether it be from Wyatt Langford or Cade Beloso. It might be even from Dick Johnson, who's just a regular fan out in Lot D, and he's got himself some Templeton Rye because he knows that it's a home run all around. To learn more, check out their Instagram page or visit their on-site distillery. It is Templeton Rye, whiskey for the strong-spirited. Enjoy responsibly.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
I feel the need to stand up for bunting. I feel as if it has been crusaded against. I feel as if there is a war on bunting, Josh. They hate bunting. They hate giving up outs. Nerds. It was started by that line in Moneyball where Billy Beane says, never bunt. You're giving up an out. And I'm here to tell you it's still good for something. So, once again, Connor Happer here for bunting.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Your Monday morning forecast will include crystal blue skies along with comfortable conditions. Morning temperatures will start in the lower 60s before warming into the upper 70s around lunchtime today. Overall, we should hit a high temperature of 87 degrees. For tonight, remaining clear with morning lows dipping into the lower 60s. For tomorrow, much warmer with a high of 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KTV News Watch 7.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees. The Source. By your mom's house.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 94 to 90th on Dodge. Then on Center, be prepared for a minor delay near Bob Boozer Drive. And along Highway 370, be prepared for some significant slowdowns from 150th to the I-80 East and West ramps. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call 402-810-0789 or visit IBEW22.org today.
Celebrate the college baseball championship with Templeton Rye, whiskey for the strong-spirited. With an all-star lineup of 4-year, 6-year, and 10-year reserve, Templeton Rye is crafted with a strong community spirit, the perfect way to celebrate your favorite team. Templeton Rye, whiskey for the strong-spirited, available near you.
Fireworks season is here. This week is a Zone Deal 4th of July Mega Week. Each day, we'll feature deals from businesses sure to make your 4th of July great. Half off. Check out our deals from Twisted Thunder Fireworks. And to fill your stomachs, half off deals from Cops and Ted and Wally's Premium Ice Cream. All for half off. Don't miss this 4th of July Zone Mega Week at 1620thezone.com and click deals.
Whether you own a local business or a global one,
You know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Hey, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We've asked some water park experts at Funplex in Omaha what the best part of summer here is at the park. So, what do you guys think?
Ocean, the slides, the lazy river, splash, double trouble.
Whoa, one at a time. Whoa!
We got this. Riding the waves of the motion ocean. Next, double trouble. A trapdoor drops, and suddenly you're rocketing down a slide feet first. Yeah, but what about music and lights inside Rockin' Rapids?
Okay. I guess the experts have spoken. This summer, let the fun drop at Funplex. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, a couple of emails into the Equitable Bank inbox where they answer on the first ring. And if you're playing for Elkhorn North's Legion team, you got a free checking account.
All right. Is that part of it too? Yeah.
It is now.
All right. You get a little free checking account. And if you
Great
sign
stuff,
up now,
Doug.
you get $10 immediately deposited into your account. You know,
what?
banks used to do stuff like that.
You know what? That's the thing about Doug sponsoring a Legion team. Wouldn't that be like for every home run or for every win, he like puts $5 into your Christmas account?
Yeah. That you can't get it right now. You can only get it, like later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's running some NIL operation at
Yeah.
Equitable Bank.
Yeah.
Next level thinking.
It is.
All right. So on the
like a flex savings account. That'd be
on
cool.
the vibe question, I think also this is part of the guy that's in charge is tempered a little bit the expectations of year one. He says, I'm dead inside, Chris says.
Wow.
But yeah, he still had an opportunity to send an email off before that happened.
Awesome.
It's every offseason Nebraska's had the last 10 years, listening to people who cover the team, max spin everything. I think we've been tempered.
Yeah.
I think we got burned.
Yeah.
We learned our lesson. We were bad. That was us. We were bad. Every aspect of this team, if it were another program, these same people would be berating this team and pointing out the glaring deficiencies everywhere. But since it's the home team, they pretend these deficiencies will somehow magically be a rallying cry to see players and coaches turn a negative into a positive. Okay.
I get it.
You have to understand that this approach by the guy that's currently in charge and this essentially a new football program, we haven't been around before. That's why last week we got into a discussion about readjusting how we look at recruiting rankings and how the recruiting process. We want Nebraska to recruit like Penn State and be those top 15 teams. We have to adjust, and Nebraska is now going to recruit like Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota. We haven't done that before around here, so that's going to take a little bit. But even with that said, and the flurry of what Nebraska could finish June with, Nebraska's recruiting rankings are actually pretty good. this team is almost completely devoid of talent. The few individuals who potentially had talent at one point have had careers ended by injury. So combining a team without talent with a first-year coaching staff, not a great combination for immediate success. I've been true to this. I think they have there are certain positions where they have a lack of talent, depth.
Yeah.
They have some fellas that you know nothing about, and it's going to be a rugged 2023. So any of the vibe question that I asked that both of you answered and other listeners, it is more of, I get what this year is going to be.
Right.
But man, you might have me in 24, 25 down the road because it looks like you have a plan, not just to do this year, but to do this for a while.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
stuff that we haven't been used to around here. So we're all going to have to adjust, and you're going to have to trust that this is something that has worked in the past and will be able to be portable from Philadelphia to Waco to Lincoln.
Yeah, and I what he's saying there, I think, is completely fair. But I think the question was, the way I understood it, was a little bit more of the future, because 23, as we've discussed many times, and as we've discussed the deficiencies on this current roster, at least what we don't know. Defensive line, for instance, what is that going to look like, especially when it comes to depth there? There's a lot of positions there that are big time question marks, and so 2023 it's the necessary evil, however that looks. And yes, you
got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And you want to see 6 wins in Nebraska get to a bowl game. Can that happen? Sure. Is it likely? No, I don't think any of us could ever say that based on what we've seen. I think it goes to what we've been used to, whether we're talking about recruiting or just kind of the off-season vibes about a football program, and really wondering what is going on with the process of building this roster to the future. I think at the very least, and part of that is the reputation and the history of Matt Rule, what he's done in previous stops and what other people say about his overall work ethic in building a roster. You do have to factor that in, because we don't know how that's going to look here, but that's all we can go off of now. But then when you start to see him sort of tapping into the local area, and you see the way that he's doing it, you see who's involved in that recruiting process, you see some of the players even beyond the local footprint that are now considering Nebraska, that would completely be sort of taking a flyer on them right now, because they're trying to be sold on what's happening with the current program, on how it's being built, what you're sort of building up for your current, those current recruiting classes, on top of some facility upgrades and whatnot, but also trying to believe in this coaching staff on what they're selling you. And a lot of it has been different. It feels different, the way that they have been able to present their case compared to what we saw in the last, previous 5 years.
All right. Kev Kuz, my vibe is between cautiously optimistic and I'll believe it when I see it. I can't be the only one that is not into recruiting anymore, though, with NIL and transfer portal. I still wouldn't recruit a quarterback unless he was local that I knew was willing to wait. No, again,
I think it's fair.
Again, the current recruiting class, I think they're going to be north of 20, and I could see 25. But if they get 4 and 5 guys this week to commit, I mean, you're getting close to that 25 number, and there's probably 2 or 3 out there that will make room for you that, Nebraska's in the mix for. But here's what I also think moving forward with, and this is what I believe, just listening to Rule and their approach, is they're going to use the portal as a resource and not a rebuild.
Which is different from the previous
staff.
If
they need, and also your first year, where you've got major holes on your roster, and you want to get old quickly, because this was going to be this way with Frost. They've gone so long as one of the younger teams in college football, where the majority of their scholarships were underclassmen, that they're starting to trend towards being older, get old, stay old. So, but I think down the road, you won't see the amount of players out of the portal that will come to Nebraska. Again, it will be used as a resource, not a rebuild, and so you can have larger recruiting classes. There's the fishy math of, you can't move somebody off a scholarship to make them an NIL. Like, Nebraska softball, for example, Jordy Ball is on an NIL scholarship. They're full. So any player that joins Nebraska softball there's going to have to be an opening. Somebody's going to have to leave the program that's currently on a scholarship. And if anybody's coming in, they're going to have to be on an NIL scholarship. because you can't maneuver people off of a full scholarship to an NIL to make room for a portal. It's not good radio, but you just can't do it. I mean, it's not good radio because it would take a long time to explain. Sometimes it's not, you're like, your head would explode. But I think in the future, Nebraska will be pretty large with their high school / junior college recruiting instead of, okay, let's leave 8 spots for portal guys.
Yeah, because they're vested in development.
That's what you'll see this year.
Right. And I'm fine with that. And it kind of goes back to what you said about if we get hung up on recruiting rankings, if you give me what has been done in the past where you've had top 25 classes and you just have not seen those classes be properly developed, or maybe it was even when it comes to not everybody in those classes, on a point that you brought up, and I think it was a very good and probably overlooked point about who are you actually offering, as opposed to when those scholarship offers are coming in, how they're being developed. But are they being evaluated correctly when you are offering scholarships? If you're going to give me a recruiting class that is going to finish consistently in between 25 and 40, but it's a class that you're going to continue to see the staff kind of play up to their reputation of develop. You're getting a lot more high school guys in there that, to the other guy's point, maybe not necessarily ready to play now, but understands that this is going to be sort of a 2-year thing where they need to get developed before they can significantly impact the team, but they're willing to do that. Well, then, and you've got this track record of doing it as a coaching staff. Well, then you got something there, because then, to your point about, getting old, staying old, then all of a sudden you've got then the guys behind them, the year behind them, that are also going through that same process. And now when those guys either leave early, hopefully for the NFL draft, or at least play out their eligibility, you've got those next guys in line. And, in the process, you're building depth. What a great concept that would be too. So if the development is taking place, I will take the 25 to 40 recruiting ranking, class ranking every day of the week, because getting back to sins of the past, we've been burnt on top 25 classes. Hell, if you end up getting one, great. But more than anything, there needs to be that reputation of not a top 25 recruiting class, but a top 25 developer, being able to develop at a clip that has you amongst the very best.
Well, I think the recruiting services will adjust to rule. Like if some of these guys that don't have lengthy offer lists, that are the quote unquote the UTRs that he likes, that are track stars with all kinds of speed, that he's going to find a spot for them. How long do recruiting services go until they start reacting to rules recruiting?
True.
Like if Eric Fields shows up and just automatically this fall he finds a way onto the field. Okay, you saw what his recruiting rankings are. But with that said, this is where this current run in the month of June, when we get through it and try and decipher everything about who got offered, who said yes, where they fit into the mix, will they get a bump? Well, because Danny Kaelin will get a bump.
Yeah.
Carter Nelson, we'll see if he gets another bump. But Nebraska's recruiting rankings, this might catch you off guard. They're 21 currently in Rivals. They're 19 and 24/7. They're 29 on On3. Isn't a little bit of the vibe of, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Well,
it's kind of
they're kind of
all over there.
They're kind of recruiting right now where Nebraska has been hanging out.
Yes.
In the 17 to 22, 23 range, regardless of who the head coach is.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you're just kind of averaging out those scores, you're probably sitting right there about 25, 26. So you're sitting inside the top 30, which has been, very, very familiar.
Well, I think you and I could be coaching at Nebraska. Jimmy as well. I don't want to exclude you. And
thank you.
At a place like Nebraska, you should be inside of the top 30 every single year, even if you don't have a monster number class.
Yeah.
Okay. There, you can live in the world of 17 to 30. You would like to live in the world of 17 to 22, and maybe you get lucky and you go inside of 17. Do I think Nebraska will ever be in the top 10? No. Could they be consistently 15, 16, 17 in that range? Certainly. I think they can. But how will recruiting services react to rules recruiting? Because I think it took them a while to react to the Kirk Ferentz's, the PJ Flex, and the Paul Chryst kind of recruiting.
Right, when you have the reputation of being able to, just based on this guy's offer list, that's not going to be the end all be all, because if Iowa's interested or Wisconsin's interested and it happens to be an offensive lineman, well, then we need to kind of adjust accordingly.
Or guys that have no stars, but once they are offered by a Power 5 school or commit, they automatically become a 3.
Yep.
All right. Then you go, well, do we have to look at them? Should they be more than a 3?
Right. It's a good point about, and this starts with what Rule is going to be able to show that he can do when it comes to being able to identify some of those untapped resources, being able to identify those guys. And then if they turn out to be impact guys and there's a consistency when it does come to that, then there's going to be that adjustment. And boy, I would love to see Nebraska and Matt Rule have that impact when it comes to the recruiting rankings and how you adjust those guys.
All right, quick break. We'll come back. Coming up, Jacob Bigelow. Plus, we'll talk to Leah Vian, who covers LSU baseball, LSU athletics, the whole contingent of purple and gold tension convention. As tonight they play for the national championship against, oh, by the way, that team named Florida that has lost a 1-run game. That's it here in the College World Series, and coming off a 24-4 victory yesterday. It's all to come in the last hour on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Bellino Fireworks, a Metro tradition for more than 35 years. Bellino Fireworks has quality products for the best prices with a 100% product guarantee. More than 50 locations in the Omaha, Council Bluffs area, as well as locations in Plattsmouth, Blair, and Fremont. Bellino Fireworks offers the best selection of products in the Midwest. Cakes, artillery shells, and family-friendly products for all ages. There's no need to go anywhere else. Look for their signature inflatables or Bellino flags. Visit BellinoFireworks.com for a full list of locations.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement Organization, is dedicated to preventing at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children from becoming involved in street gangs, crime, drug use, and victimization. PACE provides an opportunity to develop discipline, self-esteem, and positive moral values through wholesome competition and free participation in soccer, baseball, CrossFit, and flag football. To help PACE and local families make sure kids have access to safe and fun spring and summer activities, please go to paceomaha.org to support the PACE mission. Thank you.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You could hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Handley at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Your exclusive home for Royals baseball in Omaha.
Right up the middle, base hit, and the Royals are a winner.
1620 The Zone.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Sometimes Nick, people that like a tweet from way, way back.
Yeah.
They're like, you piqued my curiosity.
Interesting.
Let's see what White Brenda has to offer today.
Okay.
Yeah, not much.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
Why
thought she had a recruiting take.
Why is it when you get some sketchy Twitter activity, they always have something about God in their little bio?
Now that you mention it, that is actually very, very true.
There's a bingo card for that stuff.
Yeah.
White Brenda is a God-fearing woman.
Yeah. God-fearing or, led by Christ, stuff like that. Yeah, usually.
Not sure that's what he had in mind.
She liked to tweet about Adrian Martinez completing a pass from like 4 years ago.
Oh, good.
I'm like, okay.
Was she?
Could she have been at the garage sale?
Was she in Papillion at the yard sale?
She doesn't look like she's from around here.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't tweet very often.
No. Is she?
You guys don't do that. Like you'll get a tweet that is from a long
Yes.
time ago. Like the only reason I'm looking is
typically it's bots.
It's just basically a comment about a past, nothing controversial, nothing like that.
With a blurred picture that says, "How do I look?"
And she just liked it, and I'm like,
yeah. Usually the ones that are sort of retro are usually ones that if you click on who is this, and then it leads you to a webcam. So.
Oh, there she is. All right. Good morning.
It's usually a bot.
What's going on your
No,
timeline?
yeah, I'm like, what? Wait, who just liked what of mine? And it was a tweet from like maybe 2 years ago. And then you click on who is that? And then it's, they have one follower. And then there's a link to some type of webcam fun.
The internet's a dangerous place.
Don't worry, I've never clicked.
Oh, you've not joined?
No.
Hey, what is this? It's kind of cool.
No.
Hey, there's a lot of strobe lights going on.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Oh, you want you need my credit card number? Well, that seems legit. Okay. Let's see what I'm about to embark on.
So what is Nigeria like? Is it nice this time of year?
What is the preferred country of porn bots? Poll question?
Yeah, somewhere in Eastern Europe.
I do want to throw this in there because and this will lead into our basketball discussion with Jacob. You know what? Yeah. Don't try and tie those together.
Poor Jacob.
Because it's Monday night and it's usually like after the College World Series, you start to pay a little bit more attention. Whatever happened to the City Basketball League? The Summer College Basketball League that bounced from, I don't know, Iowa West Fieldhouse
Oh,
to...
yeah. Yeah, it should be going to like Creighton.
Yeah.
At Sokol or
and
whatever.
it was cool, because you'd have the incoming Creighton players, the incoming Omaha players, a lot of the former, players that would come back and play. Bud Crawford would hoop it up. They were most recently at the Iowa West Fieldhouse, where Manny Suarez and Matt Pyle almost fought in the parking lot. It was great.
Oh, Matt Pyle.
Well, he had just shown up. He was a freshman, incoming freshman.
Oh, okay. Maybe Suarez
old
might have
Manny.
he might have the jump on him in freshman year. Matt Pyle, but Matt Pyle's a junior. Yeah, good luck with that.
Like what? Is that completely over now?
Not hearing
It had
about
some
it.
pretty good sponsors. But that that must be gone. Completely gone. What is DeMarinis, Ravi, and Jacob going to do on Monday nights
don't
now?
know.
Because they love that. I think Ravi ran the league for a while.
He used to talk about it. That's why I remember when you brought it up just now.
Is it an NIL thing?
I don't know. It was just a basketball thing. It was Monday night. It was pretty cool. You'd see a lot of it was especially big for Creighton fans because that would be their first opportunity to watch the incoming players.
No, that's what I mean. Like, has NIL now just taken too much of our college athletes' times that they can't pay a little attention to a city league?
Something I missed. Things you think about during the college.
Let's
World
just blame
Series.
the transfer portal for it. Probably the transfer portal's fault.
Yeah, that's where I had
Source a lot of
interaction with Devin Brooks. Remember Devin Brooks from Iowa Western?
Oh,
went to
wait, never
Creighton?
mind. I thought you were talking about a different Devin Brooks. Okay, no.
No, that was the first time I met Devin Brooks.
Okay.
We had an interesting conversation.
You elaborate on that?
Well, sometimes conversation was a little tough.
Oh, okay.
Understanding.
Okay.
Yeah. Boy, in those scenarios, in those kind of leagues, Devin Brooks was a baller. He was an all-star.
Yeah.
All right. So I just missing him. Some people miss, certain things during the college.
I don't think you
during
would
the
have
College
seen,
World Series this time of the year. I miss the City League or the Summer League or whatever they were calling it after a while.
you wouldn't have seen Bud probably taking in a pickup game this time.
No,
He's got something. He's got something going on.
He was on a team. He was
No,
on a
I
team.
know.
He'd show up
I
and
just don't think he would
he's a
be
great
doing it this
basketball
summer.
player. No, he's a month away from fighting.
Yeah, there's something happening.
All right, Jacob Bigelow will join us next. Also, we'll give our thoughts on what we think will happen tonight downtown. Don't forget, you can hear that game at 6. Connor, USC, they're all in the baseball village for the final time. Will that be cleared out, you think?
Yes.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be
Are we,
slim
on,
pickings.
are we on discount watch?
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It already was
I
Saturday.
think even with the teams involved, I mean, there I see even LSU gear. I think it's going to be slim pickings.
Both
but
teams
you'll
will
get
be
some-
done after tonight, so you can get 50% off both teams.
I think it's going to be good. I think
Saturday was the
I think-
blank show.
I think by the
Yesterday
time
was the
game is-
hangover.
by the time the game is over, if even like 15% of the vendors are still open, I'd be shocked.
Okay.
I'd be stunned.
All right.
Other than the beer vendors.
All right. Last hour is coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 94 to 90th on Dodge. Then on Center, be prepared for a minor delay near Bob Boozer Drive. And along Highway 370, be prepared for some significant slowdowns from 150th to the I-80 East and West ramps. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Enter the Nebraska Lottery's Lucky for Life Ticket Snap. Through July 10th, buy a Lucky for Life ticket and enter to win Nebraska Football Skybox season tickets, regular season tickets, or other prizes. Top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Dust. It's in the living room, the bedroom, and the bathroom. It's also in your lungs. Let's fix that, shall we? Duct Defense Midwest offers a comprehensive system that cleans, disinfects, filters, and purifies the air. They'll make your home healthier and improve the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com right now for a special air duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. cleanairradio.com.
Do you know the common signs of transmission trouble?
Your engine revs before falling into gear, shifting is rough, or you're leaking reddish-brown fluid.
Knowing the signs could mean repair instead of replace.
That's where we come in. We're certified transmission.
The job done right at the right price.
Shop Sid Dillon Chevrolet, Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer. Visit any of our 4 locations for your new Chevy or pre-owned vehicle or at SidDillonChevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Let It Fly Sports Bar is your elevated sports bar experience. Located in the Capital District in downtown Omaha, experience Let It Fly's unique brand of hospitality with 2 floors, 2 bars, 2 expansive outdoor patios, and an in-house podcast studio with live broadcasts of the Let It Fly show, hosted by me, Michael Severe, and Josh Jones. Host your next watch party, private event, or date night right here at the Let It Fly Sports Bar. Now open.
Take your science or healthcare degree to the next level at College of St. Mary and apply to one of our in-demand graduate programs. Earn a Doctor of Physical Therapy with our online on-campus hybrid program. Earn a Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies in just 2 years, or an Occupational Therapy Doctorate in 3 years. Graduate programs at CSM are inclusive and open to everyone. Plus, we offer an accelerated pathway to several of our healthcare programs for those needing their undergraduate degree. Apply today. Get started at csm.edu.
Let It Fly, your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, let's go to our West Virginia basketball expert. He has had his finger on the pulse of...
Should have played Country Roads. My apologies.
The replacement for Bob Huggins, which they're going to go with an interim. It is the basketball insider. It is the Woj of Omaha. It is Jacob Bigelow.
Wow, what an introduction! I need. I'm going to need the MP3 of that sent over. That was beautiful. Thank you.
don't let me down, because if you do, you should lose my number.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Hey, let's start there. You do know a little bit about that situation there with some people that you've worked with that are inside of the program. They finally decided to go with an interim, but it sounds like it was awful ugly. It was the Bob Huggins crew, the players, everybody that is involved. What were your thoughts on how they came up with just going with an interim for the next year?
You probably would have thought right away that is just what they should have done. Try to keep the continuity, do those assistant coaches a solid with, their contracts coming up, needing to be renewed soon. But they definitely tried to take a couple swings. They whether it was flying in coaches from on the PJ for an interview in person, or multiple Zoom interviews with sitting mid-major head coaches who Huggins may or may not have, handpicked to want to be the successor, to even my guy Joe Mazzulla getting involved, whether it be hopping on Zooms with the team saying, stay together, stay at West Virginia, or him vouching for his former boss to get the job. It was all over the place. It was an absolute mess. And you could even say that the interim coach they wound up with was not the interim coach would have expected.
Yeah.
So, but they still found a way to get it done. And best of luck to Coach Eilert, who I did not realize had been on that staff for 15 years in different capacities under Huggins, but he'll get the interim shot next year.
Yeah, and so with Eilert and the timing of all of this, which we talked about, just was not ideal in trying to maybe find your coach for the future if you're looking to make a big splash. I mean, do you think it kind of came down to that, Jacob, that given the fact that we're almost in July, you've got workouts taking place, you're already thinking about the next season. I don't know if West Virginia had any international travel planned or not, but there was just not that much time to maneuver to what you would typically want to do. I mean, did it, to your best recollection, just maybe best opinion, come down to just the timing of all of this?
Oh, the timing definitely played a major role. I mean, there weren't any, the candidates that, were at the front of the line were, sitting mid-major head coaches, and then a guy you may have heard of named John Beeline, who was the coach at West Virginia at at one point before he had his run at Michigan. There were some kicking of the tires there. And then, I think he's just in an advisory role in an NBA organization, I think, right now. I don't think he's full on retired, but, the guys that currently had jobs that were interested were sitting mid-major guys. And then part of me thinks that even after, the upcoming season, it'll still be, I think, similar names that'll get rumored for the full-time job when the time comes.
So Kirk Kriisa, who Nebraska and West Virginia were hot after, and he ended up at West Virginia, went into the portal and then pulled his name out. He's staying. Joe Toussaint is not. Kansas State and Texas Tech have visits lined up. Alabama, who they contact everybody, them and Arkansas, they also are interested. Nebraska's name was mentioned. Anything there with Joe Toussaint and Nebraska?
Nothing concrete that I've heard at all. The response that I got when, asking for, who Nebraska was going to kick the tires on was, well, that we're always looking. When talking to people close to that situation, which, very, very, very coach speak answer. You're always looking, but especially when you have two open scholarships this late in the game. But I wouldn't, I've heard that, they did reach out to Toussaint. There is now, wonders if they'll reach out to Javon Quinterly. Yeah, they're putting out some feelers for that backcourt. That's for sure.
Okay, so Quinterly, you got to inquire. Obviously, you've got to at least give it a look. Where do you think Nebraska would be potentially in the mix? Considering NIL and everything, is that something that is somewhat realistic for Nebraska, or is that more of a pipe dream?
I wouldn't call it a pipe dream. I mean, I think if they're willing to take a swing, they have plenty of connections and resources to take the swing, even just outside of NIL. Quinterly's a New Jersey kid, so he probably, even if he doesn't directly know, CJ Wilcher or Jamarcus Lawrence, they probably know a guy who knows a guy who, maybe they've been in the same open gym or something like that.
What about Juwan Gary?
And then that was going to be my next point. He's got a former teammate on the roster in Juwan Gary. They were in Tuscaloosa together. There's some connections there that could maybe be used to Nebraska's advantage. But I mean, it all comes down to fit and where they see him on not just on the depth chart, but in the locker room. And that's I'm sure they'll, if the fit. If they see it as a good fit, they'll take the swing at it.
So he's going to be 25 during the season. Quinterly will be. So he went to Villanova. Jay Wright loved him. Didn't work out. Went to Alabama. Started, then went to the bench. Finished up last year. So he's looking for his 6th year. But there's the other part of, he can transfer because he's a grad transfer. He's already graduated from Alabama. You mentioned Nebraska's got a couple of scholarships that they're holding. I look at Omaha's got a couple of scholarships that they're holding. There are other schools that are not accounted for with all of their scholarships. Will we see some players that now have options and they can transfer outside of the deadline, that these schools that are holding on to one or two could possibly benefit from because Quinterly's a nice point guard. I mean, I don't know for what Nebraska currently has that he would fit because of what he needs, but I mean, there's got to be other schools that have availability. They're like, man, this guy has played in the SEC. I can use him.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think I saw somebody tweet out a list of the power conference schools that have multiple scholarships open, and it's more than you'd expect at this time of year. And I even was talking with some friends in the coaching ranks recently, and he said, and one of my friends said, well, if people are pissed off now at Quinterly, just wait until guys get done with summer school, and then they can graduate, and then they decide they want to transfer once the summer school session ends. You never know, when, I mean, that's one of the few exceptions. People made such a big deal out of that portal deadline, and then people act surprised, yesterday when the Quinterly news drops, and didn't the deadline already pass? When, you got to explain to them the graduate transfer thing and what you can do once you graduate. And, it was a good point. I worry that we may see a second wind of guys who, get done with summer school and, their summer workouts, and they realize where they're at, and they're like, yeah, you know what? I can do this. I'm out of here. So well, who knows what the rest of the summer may bring in portal combat.
Oh, I like that, portal combat. Outstanding. Jacob, now that we kind of bring it up, Quinterly and point guard. Okay, I just your current assessment of the point guard position right now, Nebraska, with what they have of the transfer portal, who most likely is going to fit that role or even roll off the bench. If they were not to do anything else with it, are you okay with where it is now compared to what it's been?
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Am I enthusiastic about it? Maybe not. But I mean, I feel like with what it looks like the situation may be, we still have the ultimate mystery man in Ramel Lloyd. We haven't heard anything about what they see him more as, if it's on the ball or off the ball, and then. And then with Ulyss, you've got another guest coming up, so I don't want to talk about what I see Aaron Ulyss as for the next, half hour. But, if he ends up being the starting point guard, I mean, I look at that situation as like a Bill Belichick, backup quarterback, he's going to be able to manage the game. He's not going to do anything that's going to knock your socks off, but it's going to be serviceable. He'll know the playbook, he'll know the plays, and he'll know where to, make the right read, but he's not going to, do anything that's going to end up on Sports Center. There's my analogy for the day.
It's fair. That's fair.
How many different guys will start at point guard for Nebraska this year?
Right now, I'd say 2. You never know about, with the injuries they've had last year. These last couple of years, actually, just the injuries that you never know where they'll end up. You could even guess more than 2, but right now, I'll guess 2.
All right, quick thought, because it's it's your team. So our good friend Robin Washut has got a source, and the source is Sam Griesel, that he is going to play with the Celtics Summer League team in Vegas. Where's Sam Griesel playing in the fall? Would it be better for him? Because, he had aspirations to go overseas, and that could still be the case. But could there be a chance that he is on I don't think he would be a two-way guy, but he could start. I mean, he could start in the G League.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. I mean, it depends on how. I mean, he obviously performed well enough at his workout with the Celtics to earn a summer league invite, and you never really know with the summer league invites, because it's either, it could be, oh, we have genuine interest in this guy for something down the line, or it could just be, we just need bodies to fill out a roster and be able to run practice drills. Like, that's the thing with summer league. There have been some interesting guys that have wound. And obviously, I'm a huge fan of not just Sam Greasel as a player, but Sam Greasel as a person even more. And so it's kind of a best of both worlds for me to see him in the green and white for Boston out in Vegas. But I think if he performs well enough, and he actually needs to get to play to perform. That's the thing with summer league too. There are guys on these rosters who they get to run and practice, but they barely get to play. So it'll be interesting to see what Sam is utilized as with the Celtics out in Vegas. And but I think if given the chance to shine and the opportunity, he could work his way onto a G League team.
All right, UF or LSU?
It's tough to say because I would like to see LSU win, but Florida yesterday, man, and I know the wind and all that, and we got to see Gorilla Ball return for a day, but I feel like that was Florida's reminder of, this is what you guys get for not talking about us for the last 10 days. I felt like that was like, hey, we're still here and we're still pretty good. I think obviously whatever LSU gets from Skeens tonight, because it's not if, it's when. But so I think Florida wins, and I think it's going to bum out a bunch of people, and it's going to bum out a bunch of of locals and visitors. But right now, I'd lean toward Florida.
All right, so put Jacob on the board, and it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Yeah, no, my relatives down there who hold degrees from the University of Florida, they'd be happy if they were listening to this, which I know they're not, but they'd be proud of me.
You'll be wearing a Spurrier visor tonight. Then
How come they're not listening to it? Do they not like you?
No, they like me. They like me.
All right, don't they know you've been dubbed the Woj of Omaha?
They don't, but I might have to let them know now. Might have to call them up.
All right. We won't talk to you next Monday. So you got another week. You got 2 weeks to go get another scoop.
I will.
A Jake
see what
bomb.
I can work on. Yeah, no, I've been told they've been dubbed Bigelow Bomb.
Yeah, Bigelow Bomb. Yeah, I like that.
They've been dubbed that, which I'm not opposed to.
Sounds like a drink.
Yeah. It
does. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
You'd be dropping a shot into something. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what the drink would be.
We've had cowbells, and we've had boom, and we've had fireworks. Now we got a Bigelow Bomb.
Bigelow Bomb, I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm just glad that at least until the end of next basketball season, I don't have to tweet about West Virginia anymore. So
would we drop a shot into a beer for the Bigelow Bomb, or would it be into an energy drink like a Jaeger Bomb?
I think it'd be into a mixer.
Okay.
Oh, go crazy!
All right.
Yeah, I think it'd be into a mixer. I don't know what mixer. I might have to reach out to some of my friends in the service industry who know a thing or two about bartending to get it put together.
Well, because it's got to be you. It's got to be your signature. What says Jacob Bigelow? So whatever it is, no matter how weird it might sound, the Bigelow Bomb needs to be about you.
We could get it pre-produced. It's time for a Bigelow Bomb.
Yeah.
And
then we'll all drink one.
The Bigelow Bambino.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on a shirt.
But hey, we'll workshop this. We'll workshop all that over the next couple weeks.
We got time.
Yeah, enjoy.
When you're watching the hot dog eating contest, you can think about it.
Go to Oakview Mall. My guy Tommy that runs one of the kiosks, he'll take care of you.
Oh, I'm sure they'll take whatever business they can get. I don't know about a t-shirt. I'm more worried about the drink. But maybe I'll workshop that while I'm out in Denver next weekend. So.
All right, good to see you. Be good. Enjoy today in the championship.
Yep, you guys too. Always fun. Good talking to you guys. Have a good one.
All right, that's Jacob Bigelow.
Bigelow Bomb.
Joelle Lorenzi has been rescheduled to Wednesday
to accommodate our new friend.
Yes,
because she's leaving town. We think she might buy a home here. I don't know. She's been here a week and a half. Grows on you.
Is she aware of our current property taxes in Douglas County? Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Most of the people that leave LSU and come to Nebraska go to Lincoln.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Bush has stayed.
That's true.
Mickey
grows on you.
No.
It just grows on you.
And that paycheck also grows on
That's
you as
true.
well.
That is true.
All right. Leah Van will join us here in a little bit. We will chat with her about what's to be expected tonight. I kind of feel like the security guard for Jordan in Last Dance.
Oh, yeah. The
Yesterday
guy with
was
the
baseball.
perm.
Yeah, yesterday was baseball. 24-4.
Play a game.
So what you're saying is yesterday is not overwhelmingly moving you to choose one way or the other. Like
No,
you're not
no.
overreacting to.
I know who
yesterday.
I'm choosing. I will.
Yeah,
I will
I
give
know.
it the
I know.
next 30 minutes. But
you're not using that as like
people want to be like, oh my gosh, LSU's in trouble. It's baseball. It's a lot easier when you know you're done by the 5th inning than losing in the 8th inning when you thought you were going to win the championship.
Yes, I
like what happened to Arkansas a few years
You
ago.
can-
Something like that, losing a game.
Yes, you can look at yesterday and overreact it like crazy and think, but
I'm surprised nobody said save some of those for tomorrow.
Kevin O'Sullivan did. Said, well, we can't carry those into any of those into tomorrow.
I meant on the broadcast, but I see what you mean.
You can't put 10 in your pocket and say, all right, we're gonna try to bankroll on Monday.
I did hear we could have used one of those yesterday.
Well, guys, I mean, think about it, the 8 1-run games. We were due for an eruption. Maybe not to that tune, but we were due. Maybe that was just the College World Series deciding to open itself up for one day. What will today be? And again, if Skeens gets the start, which I'm right there with you, Sharpie. If you are going to use him, I think he's best used out of the gate and not coming in a relief appearance. If he's able to stabilize, if he's able to limit the at-bats, all of a sudden kind of getting a slice of humble pie with a guy who's dealing, well, it's game on LSU. You know, if and I can't imagine a scenario where Skeens starts and Florida just picks up from where they left off yesterday, where they're just teeing away. You know, if they get even a crooked number in the first inning or two against Skeens, assuming that he would be the starter, well, then you got a problem, LSU. But if you see some zeros early on, regardless of what LSU offensively is doing, then I think you're right back to where you were going into Saturday.
That's a good question for Leah. Save that one.
You can answer it.
That should be the first question.
It'll be the first
answer
question. Absolutely.
Second one, have you heard about our zoo?
And a follow-up, did you go?
What'd you think?
Yep. Did you go to the Drover?
Look at that. 4 questions, right? 5 counting the first one. You're all set.
She's going to join us next on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
We have NIL, we have transfer portal, we have conference realignment. Do we need like a new scandal?
Man, I just love the games. I just like games. Well, it's people don't like the NBA because it's all drama. They don't like the games. People love all the drama. That's what college football turns into for 9 months.
Well, have you seen the non-conference schedule? It sucks.
Man, it is pretty bad.
It sucks.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Your Monday morning forecast will include crystal blue skies along with comfortable conditions. Morning temperatures will start in the lower 60s before warming into the upper 70s around lunchtime today. Overall, we should hit a high temperature of 87 degrees. For tonight, remaining clear with morning lows dipping into the lower 60s. For tomorrow, much warmer with a high of 90 degrees. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
Those of you who've enjoyed the cigar lifestyle for any length of time are keenly aware of the enviable reputation of Rocky Patel. Impeccable flavors and aromas, flawless construction. So allow me to ask, how would you like to attend a Rocky Patel event at Hearth Cigars on Friday evening, June 30th from 6 to 9? There's plenty of free food, live music featuring the Dive Kings, and of course specials on Rocky Patel's. Talk about a perfect start for a long Independence Day weekend. Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, I-680 and Mormon Bridge Road.
Howdy, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Hey, how about some interesting nature facts to get you outdoors? Did you know that Nebraska has more than 70 state parklands, more than 100 species of fish, more than 400 species of birds, and more than 1,500 species of native plants? We do. You need more numbers? Go online to the Game and Parks website, outdoornebraska.gov. Question for you. Planning to be on the water this season? Great. But remember, wear your life jacket. Keep in mind that most people who drown in boating accidents are not wearing theirs. It's like I tell folks all the time, life jackets, they float, you don't on the water. So why wouldn't you be wearing yours? Please think about that and be safe. I'm Greg Wagner with the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there!
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants, like lemongrass and geraniol, and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
And played it like when Garth was performing in Death Valley. How cool that would have been. Before we welcome in our next guest,
Yeah,
we have to
amazing.
tell you that we could have breaking news because right now in America, Long John Silver's is trending.
Yeah.
So if anything happens to Long John Silver's, we're going to have to stop this interview. But
You
we
will
have-
hear it
I
first.
know.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to try. I was trying to track it during the break, anything that, because it could go.
Our zone research team
When
is
Long
on
John
it.
Silver's is trending, it can't be that great.
So with all this stuff, we apologize. We welcome in our guest who is the best at what she does, covering LSU football and baseball. She's been in Omaha for like 3 weeks. Okay, she's ready to go home. She spent a lot of money. She's tired. She's been on all these different radio shows.
She knows what a runza is.
And she's been asked if Paul Skeens is going to pitch tonight. It's Leah Van, who covers the LSU for the Advocate in Baton Rouge. Good morning. Thanks for your time. Are you ready to go home?
Yeah.
I know it.
I mean, no offense to Omaha. I like it here, and certainly the heat is not quite as intense as Louisiana, but oh my goodness, I just want my own bed.
Yeah.
All right, give me yesterday. We won't spend a lot of time on 24-4. What is the overreaction to what happened yesterday, and what is the sensible reaction as it pertains to what's going to happen tonight?
I just think the overreaction is all the records that Florida shattered by demolishing LSU. And look, that's kind of what happened. So earlier this season, LSU played South Carolina, and there was a several-hour rain delay. And what happened was they turned to the same bullpen arms that you saw yesterday, which was like Sam Dutton, Bryce Collins, Christian Little. And it wasn't quite, 24-4, but it was like, okay, they're throwing this game kind of situation. And so I think what they did was they realized they were down too far. They threw in some arms that literally had not pitched since May.
Mm-hmm.
And then Florida continued to leave in that starting lineup and hammering them. And so it's kind of like, I think if you leave the score at like 8-3, you're like, okay, that says it all, because really LSU was not batting well with runners in scoring position or runners on base at all, which is something we also saw in the first game. It's something that we also saw like for much of the month of May, actually. And then, when it comes to defense, obviously those two errors kind of allowed, or the two initial errors, because there were like 4 by the end of it, but that kind of allowed Florida to keep rallying and to stay alive and score more runs. And so I think if you pinpoint it down to the little nitty-gritty details, it's not like at the face like as bad of a loss. It's just kind of like a regular loss. But certainly it was not pretty, and it was not fun to cover.
I don't know how this factors in on, at what point to bring Skeens in, either to start or to come in off the relief appearance. But given what Florida's offense looked like in an effort to, not allow them to sort of pick up from where they left off or, throw up any crooked numbers early in this game, does that seem to maybe favor more of a Paul Skeens start? The guy that's going to give the best chance for LSU to really settle into that game and throw maybe a couple of zeros up, so you really do truly put yesterday sort of in the rear view?
Yeah, I think so. I think, if you want to start off strong and you want to have the lead, Paul is the guy to go to. I just don't think he can give you 6 innings.
Right.
So it's like, okay, do you throw another guy in for the first 2 or 3 innings and then use Paul kind of mid through, or do you start off with Paul? I would assume, barring whatever his health says, like he would start. But if not, like you could maybe see a Thatcher Hurd start, or Griffin Herring. So Griffin Herring has not started at all. That doesn't seem to matter too much. Nate Ackenhausen, while not successful yesterday, was very successful against Wake Forest. So, I think, depending on the conversations that go on today, and we're so close to the draft and health is a big thing. Obviously want to keep him healthy and don't want to jeopardize his future, but he has had 3 days of rest. So after throwing 120 pitches, so I wonder if there's a possibility he could throw just for a couple of innings.
You think, and I'm a big fan of Jay Johnson from his time here previously, and he's put it all in perspective. And when you're at a place like LSU, it, Leah, you cover it. The expectations for all their sports are through the roof, but even more so for baseball. And I think he's handled it really well. He made the comment to me, I think it was Wednesday. He goes, "Oh yeah, we already knew that Skeens was pitching on Thursday, and he knew that because on Tuesday I already put up, here's what our rotation looks like for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday." Do you think those guys already know who's starting tonight before they ever got to tonight?
Yeah, I think they know. Jay has kind of got a football coach mindset in which he doesn't want people to know anything too far ahead of the game. He doesn't like to give up an advantage. That's why he will kind of be hush-hush about injuries and stuff at times, which I respect and I get it. But yeah, I would assume that the players know either who's starting or at least who is going to pitch in this game. And I think we can all kind of use a process of elimination as to who will pitch in this game, like Thatcher Hurd, Griffin Herring, but possibly a Javen Coleman. I think you could see Gavin Guidry come roll out there again. But I think we all I think they would know. I just don't know. Obviously, Jay Johnson likes to keep things a secret.
The Riley Cooper status, Cooper Riley status right now with the stomach ailment and what he's dealing with. Do we still expect him to have a role? Is there anything significant, anything coming out about just the stomach ailment right now?
I haven't heard back on it. My guess is that he definitely has to figure out. It's probably going to be a game time decision, right? Like if he's still puking all day today, then it's probably a no. You got to make sure he's hydrated, especially in the heat and kind of the dryness of this weather. So I wouldn't bank on it, to be honest. He has pitched before in this kind of situation, actually, but given the fact that you have still so many of your top guys available,
Yeah.
and I think he might be at the game depending on how he feels, but it is going to be a decision as to whether or not he comes in, like probably today and probably in a few hours.
What would it mean, one, Leah, to LSU baseball to win another national title, the first since '09, but to have a head coach who in his second year gets to Omaha, wins a championship in the current state of college baseball where Portal is king and he has become the king? What would all those mean to what's going on at Alex Box Stadium?
Well, first off, this is the most enthusiastic fan base in college baseball. So winning a national championship, regardless, is something that they expect and that they want, that they really want badly. And I think it would mean like a lot to them. And, I think it would mean a lot to Jay, who's somebody who has been within striking distance of a national championship before. I think the transfer portal thing is interesting, and obviously he got Paul Skeens out of the transfer portal. Obviously he got Tommy White, and those are kind of the two key pieces that he was able to fill roles with. But you also have to remember that some of the guys who have stepped up, especially in the tournament, were guys who have been at LSU for several years. And then even the Golden Spikes winner, Dylan Cruz, was recruited by Maneri and has been there for years.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about this yesterday, and it's like using the transfer portal is kind of like you have to find the balance of how you use it, right? And how you use it in an effective way. Because if you just reload your entire team with transfer portal guys, it may not mesh and it may not work out. But with this one, he kind of just split guys into certain roles. And that's kind of things that the team understood they needed, the team understood they lacked, and were able to welcome with open arms. So I think in the new age of the transfer portal, we are seeing baseball teams that do have a lot more talent and a lot more, veterans. We have a lot more veterans who are playing. And so I think that's what's the big deal is you're going to see more talented baseball and guys who are really skyrocketing their careers by going to different programs. And obviously Thatcher Hurd, I think, got left out of the equation too. But yeah, I mean, LSU did not have a starting rotation last year at all. They had one starting pitcher. And then this year they had a little bit of a better one. They had Ty Floyd, who again has been there for years, and Paul Skeens, who has played a tremendous role in their success. And then Thatcher Hurd, who's kind of been this middle reliever, who has played a key role in the postseason. And so they've had some semblance of a transfer heavy rotation. But you've got to remember, a lot of the key arms still, Griffin Herring, that's a freshman.
Yeah.
Gavin Guidry, that's a freshman. Riley Cooper, he was from the transfer portal the year before. And Nate Ackenhausen's the junior college guy who went through the normal process of like college baseball, of the college baseball ladder. So I think it's played a tremendous role in a way, but I don't think it's something that people should pinpoint, be like, oh, well, that's, a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've interacted with this team enough to get a sense of what you expect out of them approaching today. And I don't know if yesterday's game has any impact on how they approach today. What's kind of your best sense of this team personality-wise, overall character-wise, entering this winner-take-all national championship game tonight?
I think what we've seen is that LSU has played tremendously well with its backs against the wall in this tournament. They faced elimination for a couple of games against Wake Forest, and it came through. It outlasted an 11-inning contest the other night and came through. So I think they're used to the situation. They also have not lost they've only lost 2 consecutive games twice this year. So to take that, I think LSU is going to flush it out. I think they've already kind of were like, the starters weren't even playing by the last 2 innings.
Yeah.
So, Dylan Cruz said it all when he said, yeah, we've already kind of forgotten about it. They're going to flush it out. The records don't matter, whatever, the means, whatever. This team is very good at focusing on their own game. It's very good at I also think that they might be a little bit mad at how, yesterday turned out. And so I think that they're going to use that in a positive way to kind of rebound and get the national championship.
It should be a lot of fun. Hey, we appreciate your time. I know you've been here for a while. We've kind of interacted a little bit. Appreciate your work and your insight on our questions, and enjoy tonight. And hopefully it's a long night for you, writing a lot, and for the next couple of days.
Thank you.
And it's Leah Vann, who covers LSU baseball for The Advocate. I was looking back. So the 2017 Florida swept LSU in 2. Jackson Kowar closed it out for the Gators. That was the staff that had Brady Singer and Jackson Kowar and Alex Faedo. You had Jonathan India was in the lineup for Florida. For LSU, Kramer Robertson, Kim Mulkey's son, who most recently was here in Omaha with Memphis. He's in the Cardinals organization. Also, Josh Smith, who was a high draft pick of the New York Yankees and got traded in the Joey Gallo trade and now is with the Texas Rangers. So interesting lineup from that time. Remember Zach Hess? He threw like 400 miles an hour. Gave up 4 runs in that final game.
The Riley Cooper situation.
Well, Hess was his dad was what's his name? Basketball official.
Are they going to say? Wait, never mind. That would be Heston.
Wasn't it Carl Hess?
Yes, there you go. Yeah, Carl Hess.
Yeah, that was his dad.
Oh, I did not know that.
Hold on. Isn't that the guy that threw out miles in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tying all that back together.
See, it comes back local.
That was
That's
a pro move right
because
there.
Because I remember the name because people were like, "Oh, your dad." Yeah, that's his dad was the one that threw out miles in the NCAA tournament.
He hates Nebraska basketball.
My column.
Excuse me. The Riley Cooper thing. And if anybody doesn't know, he was unavailable. Not that he was going to be needed yesterday anyway after that launching pad and home run fest by Florida, but he would not have been available because of a stomach ailment, and apparently he was.
You're going to drop the T
sick.
word.
No, I wasn't, but he was pretty sick. And think about tonight, and you get into a situation where those arms are important, especially your closer. If he's not right, and we're talking a high leverage situation, because I'd be very stunned if you saw it sort of flip to where maybe Paul Skeens comes in a situation like that. I do wonder if the Riley Cooper status, if that also sort of dictates what Jay Johnson wants to do, as far as you've got these innings, you've got these innings, you've got these innings. It has sort of an idea, a plan, and then of course, if your starter is able to stretch out more than what his original role is going to be, then so be it. But if he can't go, that is interesting, because that's your guy at the back end. You would think hopefully it's a 24-hour type situation, but where is he at fatigue wise, all that, that could be interesting tonight.
We'll give our predictions. The Connor Happer show is down at Baseball Village, and Sportsmanlike Conduct will be down there as well. And then 6:00 tonight, we'll have the final game of the college baseball season. Winner take all, Florida and LSU. We're back to put a wrap on this show after this.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Shop the best deals of the summer now at Lowe's. Save up to an additional $1,000 on select major kitchen appliances. And for a limited time, save up to $3,165 on select 4-piece LG kitchen suites. Plus, save on hanging baskets of annuals. Right now, get 2 for just $15. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid for 6/28. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Hanging basket offer in-store only and excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Delivery's at the door. Can someone please unlock?
It's been an eventful afternoon with a spike in bookings at Claudia's event space.
We'd love to host Mermaid Fest.
She was already planning on having more event planners on hand.
500? That's a lot of tails.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Twisted Thunder Fireworks is going to save you big money. You'll find the best variety and the lowest prices in the entire state of Nebraska. Don't believe us? See page after page of products and pricing online at twistedthunder.com, where you can watch everything before you buy and choose local pickups so it's ready to go for you at the tent. Go to twistedthunder.com to check out all of our locations in Nebraska and the newest location in Council Bluffs. That's twistedthunder.com.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. Let us talk about the 3 most surprising things about modern LASIK at Kugler Vision. The first, how fast that LASIK procedure is. With Kugler Vision's leading-edge technology, we're talking just a few minutes per eye. Incredibly speedy. And how about this for number 2? How comfortable the procedure is. So often from their patients, they hear, wait, that's it? It's over? They make sure that you're relaxed and comfortable, as well as knowing exactly what is happening. And this, for number 3, how quickly you can get back to normal life. Patients typically drive themselves to Kugler Vision the very next day for their follow-up visit. So you're back in action less than 24 hours later. Kugler Vision right now, they have special pre-summer savings on modern LASIK or any of their other advanced vision correction procedures. If you've ever thought about fixing your bad vision, the Kugler Vision Eye Analysis is your first step. Do so today. Schedule one online at kuglervision.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
This week is 4th of July, holiday mega week on 1620 The Zone. Get deals up to half off of some of your favorite businesses in the Omaha Metro. Today's deal is to Twisted Thunder. Tomorrow's deal is to Cops. Wednesday's deal is to Ted and Wally's. Deals go on sale at 9 a.m. each day this week, and you can get all the details at 1620thezone.com.
Was it the 30th you can officially shoot off fireworks here in Omaha?
I believe so, yes. So that would be Friday. Oh, even better when it happens on a Friday.
Long John Silver's is trending not because they're out of business. I believe they are out of the kids' cardboard pirate hat.
Oh,
that's why they are trending. Why wasn't
Advantage Grimace?
If Arthur Treacher's is trending, then call me up. Guys ever go to an Arthur Treacher's?
Nope. Just Arthur Bryant's. Wasn't fish. It was delicious.
Hey, can I ask you real quickly, because you lived in Kansas City. My wife went there with my mother-in-law this weekend as the guys were away. Went to a place that she said was amazing barbecue. Burnt Ends is what it was called.
The place was called Burnt Ends?
Yeah, the place was called Burnt Ends. Never heard of it.
Thought you were going to say Famous Dave's.
Yeah.
She went to a really good. Have you guys ever? Yeah, have you guys heard of
Do
this
they have
Famous
these in
Dave's
Omaha?
place? Yeah, oh, they did, and they're no longer here. Oh, well, that can't bode well. Is the one on Ames still there? The 72nd and Ames? That's been gone, right? There was one.
I haven't seen one since we've been here.
There's
I know the one on Maple is
over on L by.
they had a fire.
Across from
120th.
Yeah, isn't that one there?
Is it still there?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Have you ever been to this Famous Dave?
The Scottish
My
restaurant
God,
called
it's a-
McDonald's.
My God, they bring out a trash can
It's a-
and you eat out of it.
It's a hidden
It's
gem.
amazing.
So this is why raccoons like this.
Yeah, I think Arthur Treacher's just in Cleveland. They have maybe
Oh,
a couple
okay.
of restaurants, but they used to be huge. They used to,
Never
like
heard of
that. They used to outnumber Long John Silver's.
And is a good fish and chips joint
Oh,
the best?
fabulous!
Does sound
But
very
they didn't.
good.
I think then. I think Long John Silver's ran them out of town.
Bastards.
Because it was like early '80s, mid '80s. Last time I was ever at one, I remember as a youngster when you were comparing hush puppies.
I did.
They did. I don't think they also gave you a cardboard hat, and you also did not have to interact with anybody that was wearing a pirate uniform.
I always think of the whatever the restaurant was. I can't remember in Fast Times at Ridgemont High that the older brother works at.
Oh, yeah, Captain Hook.
Yeah, that's it. Captain Hook. Yeah, Judge Reinhold works at. Yeah, the
Start picturing Phoebe Cates.
Hush Puppies
Good
are
job.
overrated. Hush Puppies at Long John Silver's overrated. I don't care if people think that's a bad food take. It's just how I felt. Never got it. Never got the whole Hush Puppies at Long
It's
John
Handley
Silver's.
at 1620thezone.com.
You're starting to become comfortable at 1620 with just awful food takes.
Is that one a bad one? Those Hush Puppies were garbage.
Dude, like, who cares? They were the hush puppy from Long John Silver's.
I know. Exactly.
I thought they're all right.
I shed a tear when on 84th that one closed. But I could see why it closed.
You try to get emotional and try to really play it up, and then you just, but I could see why it closed. That's good.
All right, tonight the championship game
For all the Long John Silver.
downtown. Yes, we will be
The hush
celebrating.
puppies in the world.
We'll be celebrating with but the best part of Long John Silver's was the crisps.
Yes, I will. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. I would always just have like spoonfuls of that.
It's now a poll for the Happer show. So,
Yeah.
all right.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't care. I just did not like them.
Oh, they're going to have fun with you.
Does it say would Nick riz up a hush puppy?
You could use as projectiles out of your car, though.
Yeah.
I know I had some friends
Oh
that
my
would
You do that with eggs,
You would
too.
bite into it, and it was so scrumptious.
No.
I would devour some right now, but that's not saying much.
No.
All
Sorry,
right.
guys.
Tomorrow we'll be talking about LSU winning the national championship. I said either Florida 2-0 or LSU in 3. Skeen starts, goes 4. Keglione struggles a little bit, but the game doesn't get away. LSU puts a couple of runs on the board early. They hold on to win 5-3. LSU is the national champion tomorrow morning.
I've ridden LSU the entire way, so I'm going to stick on it. I agree. Skeen starts. I think you get quality out of him. I think you get a couple early offensive jolts from LSU, and I think they hold on to win. I'm going to take the Tigers 6-3.
The Omaha Tigers are going to win the national championship of baseball, 4-2. Skeens is going to pitch 5 innings, going to look really good. Bullpen's going to close it out. And then Rocco's is just going to take a week off because they're going to all have to recover after this experience.
Hey, thank God Skeens is pitching. I don't know what Carl Ravitch would talk about. He's back. If you missed him last night.
Yeah, he's back.
Mike Monaco does a really, really good job.
Yeah.
But Carl is coming back from the Astros-Dodgers game.
Crazy Carl. All right. Just in time to see another Skeen start.
John says it is not legal to shoot fireworks in Omaha until the 2nd, Nick.
The 2nd?
Yeah, quit giving people ideas. I will call the cops on people shooting them before then.
They will hush puppy your house.
The 2nd is a Sunday. Okay. All right.
You can't go to Chick-fil-A, so shoot fireworks.
Yeah. Anger.
Put that on a T-shirt.
God, I could have swore it was the 30th.
By the way, Connor tweets, we're going to have to turn you down in the village with that take.
That's fine. You guys can eat your Long John Silver's hush puppies and pretend that you like them too, because you don't. It was just a thing. Well, you got to go Long John Silver's, have the hush puppies. You didn't really like them. You just put up with them because it was a thing.
Just wait till they sponsor this show.
There's stuff that you eat that you don't like?
No, there's stuff that you feel like you have to like because everyone else likes it. And you're like, okay, I'll just put up with it. And then it's not that good. And then eventually you just quit eating it because you're like, you know what? I don't care. I prefer good food over something that everyone else likes. Yeah. There's so many people out there that are trying to
pressure.
They're going to pretend that they like something. And they're really like, I don't really like it, but I'm supposed to. So, yeah.
I don't know. I'm an independent guy. If I like to eat something, I'm going to eat it.
Good.
Huh. So you're just apparently not on board.
Well, I got away from him after I, got out of a little more of a tried to become more of a nonconformist when I got older. Figured, you know what? I don't have to keep doing this. And so I didn't.
I'm sorry your parents felt that way.
It was always at the table.
They ever take you to Waco? All right. Crossover is coming up next. Enjoy the championship. I don't judge.
He's talking about Magnolia.
I don't
worry.
judge.
Were you talking about seeing the gains? You weren't talking about a really awful thing that happened out there?
I don't know. I've been watching that special on TV.
I
have to look for the Handleys.
we're in the 85 Celebrity Wally Wagon with wood paneling.
For
you can call me whatever you want to call me.
Koresher Nick. For Jimmy, I'm Gary. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6. Crossover is next. Championships at 6 tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow on 1620 The Zone.